Well, well, well. So it continues on. We are getting ready for a 2026 campaign of which I believe the Cowboys are going to make a ferocious run for the Super Bowl. And so, Darren Woodson once again, I mean the timing is impeccable. Darren Woodson speaks out about the Dallas Cowboys and their 30-year drought. He speaks out about Christian Parker. He speaks out about the Hall of Fame. I mean, Darren Woodson really gives some good insight on the Dallas Cowboys. And also, I got some beef with Jimmy Johnson. Some people aren't talking about this, but I got beef with Jimmy Johnson and this whole Hall of Fame thing. Because I want to know why he's trying to stick up for somebody who's never played for him while he's not sticking up for somebody that played for him. Cowboy fans, it's time to talk facts. Yep, it is that time. It is time to talk Dallas Cowboys. And I'm telling you now, Darren Woodson is going to give us a very, very accurate snapshot of our beloved Dallas Cowboys. Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy hitters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We still got a lot of things to talk about as it pertains to the Cowboys. Now let's talk facts. So, this is what today's show is going to be about. We're going to talk about this interview with Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson goes off the chain in the most humble way possible. He's going to talk about what it was like to be with the Cowboys 30 years ago, talks about the Cowboys drought. He talks about Christian Parker in particular, and the defense says something about the Hall of Fame, which I absolutely love. Then we're going to switch gears. He's going to talk about players today, but I'm also going to bring in a clip. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I'm going to bring in a clip from Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin goes off about this NIL stuff in college football today. And I'm going to show you how what he said and Darren Woodson said is so related. Then I want to go back. I'm sure you've heard the Stephen Jones interview, but I want to go back because Stephen Jones said something that you got to catch on to it as he talked about players from the Dallas Cowboys. And I think it's giving us an indicator of the direction they're going to go in free agency and the draft. And then, man, I got a whole video coming up on this that I haven't even fully put together yet. But man, Jimmy Johnson got me a little bit. Man, I'm telling y'all now, I love me some Jimmy Johnson, but I told y'all before, this Jimmy Johnson that we're watching now, this is not the Jimmy Johnson from 1992. It's not the 88 through 93 Jimmy Johnson. It's not. This is a shell of that Jimmy Johnson. And this is why some of the things that this Jimmy Johnson says, man, I take with 2 grains of salt. I just don't buy it all. But I'm going to show you why I got a beef with Jimmy Johnson. So that's going to be our show today. Darren Woodson, Stephen Jones, Jimmy Johnson. Let's go. Let's get it. Yeah, let's keep the party going. Quick roll call, and then we're going to get right into this thing with Darren Woodson. Mose, Logan, what's going on with you? Good to see you. God bless you. Dominique, what's going on? Yes, sir. Hey, man, I've been skipping in and out. I hadn't been as consistent. I got to get back on it. So good to see you back. Robert Dudley, what's going on? The big Robowski. Well. Friday's Cowboys start with the G. Let's go. Queen, what up? Let's go. Ron Hannah, what's going on? He said, what up, G and family? Woody, one of the best Cowboys who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Should have been in there, but I think he's going to make it this time. Chris Dunaway, What up with you? John Henry. R.T. Holman, what up? Ty Howard. Jeremy Betts up in here. What up, Jeremy Betts? Yes, sir. We all having a great day, I believe. Brandy, Big Dal 8604. What up with you? Don Pope Dada 215. He said, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Well, intros are highlight. I look forward to every time I check in with you. Appreciate you. 5 points of the star. What's going on? She said, my wife liked that laughing track you got. Yes, sir. I love it. I got to get me some extra ones added to it. Send me to Chevelle. What up? Pulling up. JCT Slice. He said, I think we can get to the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, I do too. He said, I'm still hearing the media like Stephen A. make excuses for Josh Allen. There is no excuse. Josh Allen is a choker. Ty Howard, what's going on? Tony, the Titan, what's going on? Let's go. Tristan York, Jose, Blue Blood, what up? Jaden Justin, yes sir, my man, what up? Stephen Gibson, Derek Williams, what up? Robert Simmons in this thing, what's going on? Hallelujah, salute. All right, let's get this thing going. All right, give yourselves a hand, the best chat on YouTube. I was excited when I saw this thing about Darren Woodson. I could not wait to get back with the chat. I could not wait to get back with the chat because I want to see what y'all have to say about this thing with Darren Woodson. This is a very, very powerful interview. Very powerful interview. And I'm telling you, Darren Woodson is one of those guys, man. I mean, he puts an ocean in a thimble. It's incredible. So let's pull up this interview with Darren Woodson. Let's pull this back up. And we're going to start breaking down some things that Darren Woodson said. Because I'm telling you, Darren Woodson gives a lot of great insight on the Dallas Cowboys. So let's see here. Let's pull this up.
It is front four.
Very good interview, Fox 4, I believe. Shout out to them. So let's get this thing going, man. I'm excited to make sure. I want to do some housekeeping here. Make sure I put some markers in here so after this thing is over. So let's get into this thing with Darren Woodson. I'm going to put some timestamps in here so after it's over, people can go back and watch this with the timestamps. All right, so Darren Woodson, of course, he's going to give his introduction. But like I said, very powerful interview with Darren Woodson. Gives us a great state of the union with the Dallas Cowboys and also the frame of mind that he's in as it pertains to the Hall of Fame. And I'm telling you right now, if I was a big fan of Darren Woodson before this, because I think he's he's got to be top 10 Dallas Cowboy ever. Well, if I loved Darren Woodson before, I absolutely love Darren Woodson after I heard this interview. Ace Wade, what's going on? Yo! Darren Woodson kills this interview. Just gives you his state of mind at the beginning. Let's check this out.
Icon Darren Woodson. Woody, 4 talking points. Let's get right to it here. Number 1, 30 years ago this week, you were back home in Tempe, Arizona, winning Super Bowl 30, your 3rd title in 4 years. We'll get to the drought and talk about that in a moment. But first, let's look back at better times. What do you remember about that feeling of winning that 3rd Super Bowl 30 years ago this week?
Family, friends, teachers, people who helped me get to where I was in my football career and in life in general. But I remember going back home to Phoenix for Super Bowl 30 and having to get at least 30 tickets. I was buying tickets for my own teammates, and they weren't cutting me deals, Deuce or Sam. They were not cutting me deals at all. But I had to
appreciate the Timothy Goldman.
A lot of teachers.
What up, Bass?
That and coaches from like Pee Wee League, Pop Warner League, that attended that game, and it went full circle. It was almost surreal in the fact that being home, playing in the biggest game, one of the biggest games of my life, and having them share that with me was really special.
You'd won two, but then the challenge to win a third was significant. I'd gotten here for the third. I wasn't here for the first two, but
No,
Switzer came in. Things weren't exactly perfect
no.
internally there at that point, so you had to overcome some things.
Yeah, well, a lot of expectations. We should have probably went the year before and went three straight. That didn't happen. We lost in the NFC Championship game. But, I think at that time you could see the cracks in the dynasty and what we had accomplished over the years and through free agency, through the draft. We weren't drafting as well at the same time. And I have no idea. Deuce, I can sit here and talk to you and Sam today and
Now,
tell you, well,
I want us to catch on to this part. They're kind of going back in history, talking about 30 years ago, talking about the two in a row, and then they're talking about when Barry Switzer came in. I really want us to catch this thing about Barry Switzer because I've said this before and I'm telling y'all again. Excuse me. Barry Switzer was the beginning of the country club years for the Cowboys. It was Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer was the beginning of the Jerry Jones Country Club. Barry Switzer was not only the beginning. I'm telling y'all right now, a lot of the things that we're seeing, it started with the Barry Switzer era. It was when Barry Switzer came in. If you remember the Netflix documentary, that's when Jerry Jones puts on. Man, it looked, I'm like, I must be watching AI. This can't be Jerry Jones out there as a GM/owner on the practice field in shorts, socks, shoes, and a cowboy shirt and hat. He's out there literally trying to coach. He's trying to coach the players. This was the beginning. And this is why I thought it was very powerful when Woodson says, we started showing cracks in the armor. He's talking about that country club atmosphere. Cracks in the armor. Team out there partying and all of those things. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. The Barry Switzer years were crazy. It was really the country club era introduced. And one of the biggest problems with the Cowboys is we haven't been able to get out of the country club era. And we're still in it. We're trying to get out of it, but we're still in it. Brian Schottenheimer is trying to get us out of it. I think that now that we got Christian Parker, I think he's going to try and get the Cowboys out of it, and we'll see if we do. But he's going to go on. He's got some other things to say, too, that goes along with this. But that, for me, if there is the moment that I identified the country club atmosphere, it was Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer started being easy on them in practice. That was the country club era. And like I said, even Parcells tried to get us out of it. But I'll tell you what Parcells suffered from, too, that Woody is going to, allude to in this interview.
this was the reason we got there. I think it was just through sheer mental strength that the leaders of that organization, the Troys and the Michael Irvins, Emmets, the Charles Haleys of the world. I mean, there were so many guys who were truly bought in to what we were doing and what we wanted to get accomplished, that we were able to get there and win that football game.
Now, catch this part. I don't know if y'all remember, but I've told y'all this over and over and over. Let me remind you again. It's like Jerry is just now catching on again. But one of the problems that Jerry Jones has had, he doesn't understand how to build teams. Jerry can identify great talent at times. I mean, I think most of us, if you put us in a position of choosing players on a team, most of us could probably hit about 50-50, 40-60 as it pertains to picking talent. Talent isn't the problem in the NFL. The NFL is full of talent. We just watched Jarrett Stidham be out of the league for 2 years and play in an AFC championship game. We just saw Phillip Rivers get off the couch and come play pretty decent football for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm saying that because talent, man, people don't understand how talented football players actually are. You know, we laugh at a guy, we be like, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, this dude, Robert, you know, we say, oh, man, Jarrett Stidham is trash. Go out there and try to play Jarrett Stidham. Go out there and step on the field with Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham will run circles around us. Man, Jarrett Stidham will run circles around us. Jerry's problem is that Jerry hasn't been able to build a team. And this is what he's trying to entrust Schotty to do. Schottenheimer, I need you to build me a team. I can get you the players. I just need you to build me a team. And so, Darren Woodson, did y'all notice? Darren Woodson, when they asked him, how did y'all do it? Anybody notice something that's missing? Jimmy Johnson. Now, he's not telling us that Jimmy is not important because he's going to allude and talk about Jimmy. But Darren is talking more about the mentality of the team that Jimmy did help build. But understand, Jimmy also didn't have to build that in some of those players. Darren Woodson was a dog when he got here. Irvin was a dog when he got here. Emmett was a dog when he got here. Troy was a dog when he got here. But what Jimmy did that really built that dog mentality in there or helped heighten it is the practices that you can't do today. Jimmy made them practice extremely hard. You also got to understand that players then, and Jerry helped usher in this era. Players then, they didn't play for much about the money. They were just entering into the free agency age. They were not as much about the money as they were about the chip. You think about the Michael Jordan era. A lot of people don't understand the Michael Jordan era. The NBA got popular because of Michael Jordan. And so as Michael Jordan is in that era, it wasn't about the money with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was not the highest paid player in basketball. Unlike LeBron James and guys like that, Michael Jordan, that wasn't his biggest concern. Michael Jordan's biggest concern was winning championships. Those 90s Cowboys, it wasn't about the money. Yeah, Emmett held out for a contract, but that doggone contract, it really wasn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Deion Sanders was actually the ushering in of the big-time contracts in the grand scheme of things. But the players of that time, their mentality is different. The NFL isn't even as big as it is now back then. So for those players, it was about the chip. And so Darren Woodson is talking about the mentality. And you rarely see the mentality in teams today that he's talking about. And let me give you what, even when you look at other teams, what Darren is talking about is absolutely incredible. Because I want you to think about this. So when you think about these teams today, have you noticed that the two teams who are in the Super Bowl, tell me this isn't ironic. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks, tell me who is the highest paid player on that team? Who's the highest paid player? When you think about the New England Patriots, who's the highest paid player on that team? Who is it? Let me get a couple of greetings in here, my sister. What's going on, Miss Matrix? Blue Blood, what's up? What's going on, Marion? Good to see y'all. See, I noticed this as I'm listening to Darren. I'm realizing what happened this past season. I want you to think about what happened with these teams. A lot of these teams, well, the two teams in particular that are in the Super Bowl, you got to really hit this. I mean, it's hard to do what they're doing. But I want you to think about what has transpired with the Seattle Seahawks and what has transpired with the New England Patriots. So let's dig in. Number one, they brought in hungry coaches. Mike Vrabel goes back to the Patriots. Mike Vrabel got a bad deal with the Titans. Mike Vrabel wants to come in and he wants to bring the New England Patriots back to prominence. Then you get this coach, what is his name? Mike McDonald for the Seattle Seahawks. Young, hungry coach. Mike Vrabel working with a quarterback coming into his second season. And I still say people owe Drake May an apology. Because they up there talking about Joe Milton was up there challenging this dude for the starting role. I'm finding that hard to believe. I'm finding it hard to believe that we're talking about an MVP finalist and we're saying that Joe Milton was challenging him and they couldn't even get a third rounder for Joe Milton. I told y'all this before and I'm going to tell you again. If y'all don't think that Mike Vrabel went back, looked at film, and saw everything he needed to see before letting Joe Milton go to the Dallas Cowboys, we are crazy. There's no way that Mike Vrabel is going to let Joe Milton out of New England if he's better than Drake May. But I digress. When you look at what Mike Vrabel has done, they got a lot of hungry young players who are all not necessarily on big contracts. The Seattle Seahawks, they went and got them a bunch of players. And they paid some of them, but they're not the highest paid players in the league. They went and got hungry players and built a team. And that's why they're both in the Super Bowl. That's why they're in the Super Bowl. Vrabel and McDonald, they built teams. And that's where Jerry has been going wrong for 30 years. Jerry now, in the twilight of his life, now is saying, I want to build a team. That's what they're doing now. They should have been doing this. They should have been doing this. And so Woodson, what he's talking about is the team's mentality. And Jimmy was great at building mentality because, honestly, Jimmy was a dog trainer. Man, Jimmy was a dog trainer. Jimmy was a dog trainer in college, came to the pros, and made and still was a dog trainer. And what Jimmy built was a team. Jimmy built a team. It wasn't just about player acquisition. It wasn't just about talent acquisition with Jimmy. With Jimmy, it was about team. It was about the mentality of the team. That's where Jimmy that's where Jimmy struck gold. And Jerry didn't understand. Jerry can get the talent, but because Jerry bought the country club atmosphere to Dallas, he destroyed the mentality. That's what happened. And Woodson is going to talk about this. You'll see in another clip that I have towards the end. It is the mentality of the Cowboys. Jadeveon Clowney came in the building and immediately snipped this out. Man, Jadeveon Clowney was looking around the Cowboys facility side-eyed. He was like, man, these guys got it made. Understand, that's mentality. That's mentality. When you're in comfortability, even when you're losing, you're comfortable. You got a bad mentality. You should never be comfortable losing. Never should you be comfortable. And I saw it this year, and I'm hoping we get out of this because I watched Brian Schottenheimer down the stretch of the season. I watched him be comfortable losing. I watched him be comfortable. I think he was uncomfortable, but I also think he was comfortable. And some of that maybe comes from the fact that he can't do anything about it. So he just has to, I have to deal with the hands that I've been dealt. But Jimmy didn't have to do that. Jimmy didn't have to do that. No, Jimmy's like, hey, man, this is my team. This is the mentality we're going to have. And if you don't want to win, you got to get out of here. Jimmy told Troy to his face, according to Dave Onestad, you cannot play quarterback for me and turn the ball over, because a lot of people don't realize one of the reasons why the Cowboys were losing early is that Troy Aikman was a turnover machine. He was. He was a turnover machine. And so this is the part that Jerry is trying to figure out again. How do I build a team? My wife asked me something the other day. She said, George, how do the Cowboys have all these players in the Pro Bowl, but we're sitting at home during the playoffs? How are we sitting at home? Jerry's never had a problem with talent. Jerry's never had a problem with talent. Riddle me this, Batman. How do the Cowboys have more Pro Bowlers than the Seattle Seahawks? Simple. Simple. Y'all, if you don't notice this, it happens a lot. Every year, it happens a lot. You'll notice that the teams who go the furthest don't have a lot of Pro Bowlers. Why? Because they are a better team than they are talent. They are a better team than they are individual talent. We're better at individual talent. We have the best wide receiver duo, I believe. We have the best quarterback, top 3 quarterback, top 3 wide receiver duo. We had a top 5 run game. We got a top 5, top 10 center, left and right guard. I mean, you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they got talent all over the place. We have one of the best linebackers in Demarion Overshown. We got one of the best defensive tackles in Quinnen Williams. I mean, we got all of these players all over the place, all this talent. But the mentality of the team, the identity, we're still looking for it. It's broken. The cohesiveness as a team is still not there. We're trying to get there. As a coaching staff, we're running through a defensive coaching staff again. And so now we got to get another year of trying to get cohesive and make this thing gel offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. Those are the things that we are missing. Talent is not a problem for Jerry as much as mentality and a team has been a problem for Jerry. I'm going to let Woody talk some more, but I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what Woody is saying is powerful. This era started with Barry Switzer. And as the league has made more money, we've gotten more talent. We got one of the best facilities in the NFL. It's beautiful in Dallas, but some of that has spoiled the mentality of the team.
We talked to Daryl Johnson yesterday, and he said the same thing as you said, talking about the leadership aspect. Number 2, Darren, no NFC title games, no Super Bowls in 30 years for the Cowboys. I know you can point to.
Hold on, let me show you something, Ace Wade. But watch this. You said just look at the 2007 season. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys had the most talented team in the NFL. But they lost in the first round as the number 1 seed because they were not the best team. Yes, sir. Exactly, Ace Wade. Hey, Swade, you know what people don't understand? Even when you look at the 92 Cowboys, this may blow some people's mind, but I got news for you. Troy Aikman was not the best quarterback in the league. Troy Aikman in 1992 was not the best quarterback in the league. 1993, he was not the best quarterback in the league. I am telling y'all, there are a lot of people. Time heals all wounds, and people forget so many things. Man, there were many people that used to argue that Troy Aikman wasn't that great of a quarterback. That argument was out there. That argument was out there, man. There's a reason why when you look at the accolades of Troy Aikman got the Super Bowls, but you would think, hey, man, 92, 93, 95, Troy Aikman, man, you would think he'd have a lot of league MVPs, a lot of all pros, a lot of leading the NFL in this, that, and the other. That actually wasn't Troy Aikman. That wasn't Troy Aikman. Now, Emmitt Smith, top running back in the league, but even during Emmitt Smith's era, there are people that would argue with you that Emmitt was not the best running back. Emmitt was in an era with some doggone great running backs too. They just didn't have the longevity. They didn't have the longevity in the team. But there was some great running backs back then. I mean, Barry Sanders comes to mind. Great running backs. Michael Irvin, I got news for us. Michael Irvin, talent-wise, was not the best receiver in the game. As much as I like Michael Irvin, he's one of my favorite Dallas Cowboys. And I'd take him over I'd probably take him over every wide receiver in the game. But there is a wide receiver that was playing during the time of Michael Irvin, and his name was Jerry Rice. I don't think I've seen all these guys play, the Mosses and the Terrell Owens, all of them. Nah, they ain't better than Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was incredible. Jerry Rice was incredible. When you look at the talent of the Cowboys individually, they had great talent, but they were not the most talented at so many positions. But as a team, they were unstoppable. That's the difference. As a team, they were unstoppable. Now we're the reverse of that. Now you can look at us and say, we may have the best player at a position. We may be top 3 in 10 positions, but we got our butts sitting home for the playoffs. Doesn't make sense. We don't have the team. That's what Jerry is trying to get back to, the team. Troy was the quarterback of a great team. Emmitt Smith was the running back of a great team. Emmitt, during his time, wasn't the greatest running back of all time. It wasn't until after 17 years. Then people start looking back saying, Emmitt is the best running back of all time, or one of the best running backs of all time. But during his time, people weren't saying those things. Michael Irvin, people thought Michael Irvin was great, but people were not saying he's the greatest wide receiver of his era. But where nobody would argue with you, is, but as it pertains to the 92, 93 Cowboys team, it's probably one of the greatest teams ever. The 92 Cowboys in particular, probably one of the greatest, it's probably one of the greatest teams ever. And this is what they all keep talking about, not because of the individual talent, but because of the mentality of the team collectively. And Jimmy built that house. Jimmy built that. Jimmy built that. And this is what they're trying to get back to. Let me read some comments, then we're going to get back to Woody. What's going on, Kippy? Kippy said Jimmy changed Troy's mindset, made him who he was. Yeah. Kippy, Jimmy made Troy mentally tough. Troy was already tough, but he made him mentally tough. He made him mentally tough. Jeremy said, man, 1 year Troy didn't even pass for 20 touchdowns, bro, and almost had as many interceptions as TDs, but that number one defense would bail him out. Man, I'm telling you, people don't understand. What we're looking at with the Seahawks in particular, what we're looking at with the Seahawks, that was the 92 Cowboys in a sense. What we saw last year with the Philadelphia Eagles even, that was a model of the 92, 93 Cowboys. You don't necessarily go out and get the guys who are the most talented in every position. But what you do is you go get talent. You try to get talent in almost every position. And your goal is to build the best team, not to have the most talent. Because I'm telling you right now, when I look at the Seattle Seahawks, I'm just looking at them like the Cowboys are more talented than them. But then I say, but we're not a better team than them. We're more talented. They're the better team. We're more talented than the New England Patriots. They're the better team, at least it seems. This is what Jerry is trying to get back to. And in order for you to get that team, Jerry's going to have to continue to move further away. Reggie said, I don't mind the fanfare. He said, if you take care of business, the problem is we got our priorities messed up. We're going to get media. We're the Cowboys. And that's what comes along with Jerry. Miss Matrix said Prime Dez didn't tie Jerry Rice G. Ain't no way. Miss Matrix, ain't no way. Dez, as much of a dog as he was, Dez was no match for Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is, understand, let's think about this, Miss Matrix. I put Dez in that category of wide receiver. People got to understand something about Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant is one of those players who was always the best player no matter what team he played on. Dez Bryant is an athletic freak. Has a lot of athleticism. That's what got Dez through. Dez was an athletic freak. Dez was a dog. But when you look at Dez under the microscope, one of the problems with Dez Bryant is they never worked with him on route running. And I just think too, I just think Dez was so talented he never thought about these things early on. But Dez probably should have got his own guy to help him with his route running. Dez wasn't the greatest route runner. It's not that Dez couldn't run routes, but Dez wasn't the greatest route runner. Dez didn't work at the craft, and it's not that he didn't work. He didn't work at it the way Jerry Rice worked at it. Jerry was not the most talented wide receiver that you ever saw. But that's what made Jerry one of the best receivers that you ever saw. Because Jerry worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. Jerry worked to become one of the best route runners you've ever seen. He worked to be in tip-top shape. He worked to be the smartest wide receiver you've ever seen. He worked, and he worked. And that's the difference in Jerry Rice and a whole lot of wide receivers. Megatron might have been a more talented wide receiver, but he wasn't Jerry Rice. Randy Moss, T.O., more maybe physically talented, but they were not better wide receivers than Randy Moss. Than Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice wasn't a one-trick pony. Jerry Rice could run deep. Jerry Rice could run routes. He could run outside. He could run inside. He could run across the middle. He run after the catch. Deceptively fast. Jerry Rice, if there's a wide receiver in history that you say, hey, what wide receiver, if you wanted to show somebody how to play wide receiver, what one wide receiver would you get? It's Jerry Rice. Because Jerry Rice, he wasn't the most physically gifted wide receiver. But he worked hard to get where he was. And he earned after so long. It was no doubt about it. Even Michael tell you about Jerry. Man, Jerry was an insane wide receiver. But he worked to become that wide receiver. He didn't come from no big school. Nobody was talking about Jerry and, oh, how talented he is and blah, blah, blah. No, Jerry made that noise. Jerry made that noise because of his work ethic. Jerry's one of the best. Jerry Rice is probably the best wide receiver in history. Ace Wade said Randy Moss is probably the only wide receiver that could even challenge Jerry Rice as a great. And I don't even think he could challenge him. Randy, again, I don't know if you've ever seen the story of Randy Moss. Another freak athlete. Randy Moss was a freak athlete. Period in the story. And he was so good. And I'm telling you, when people are that kind of good, they don't work as hard as people who are not that talented. Some do, but you see very few. You see very few who do it. There is something about someone when they realize they are not as talented as they want to be, and they work at it. They work to become those type of players. Jerry worked to become the greatest of all, to me, the greatest wide receiver of all time. A lot of people don't realize this about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, nobody and anybody who says it, they are lying. Nobody thought when Michael Jordan came out of North Carolina, nobody thought Michael Jordan was going to be this. Nobody thought it. I mean, everybody knew Michael Jordan was good, but people were not even calling him the best basketball player in college. People thought Len Bias was better than Michael Jordan. People didn't think Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan, and this is why I'll always put him over LeBron James. LeBron James is a physical freak. He's a freak of nature. LeBron James at 12 years old was a grown man in the body. LeBron James is a physical specimen. But Michael Jordan wasn't viewed as a physical specimen. Michael Jordan wasn't crowned as the greatest in high school. He wasn't even crowned as the greatest in college. And that's why when you find people like a Michael Jordan, who wasn't the best, but want to be the best, and is willing to put in the work to be the best, those are the types of players that rise to the top. They rise to the top. Michael Jordan rose to the top because of his mentality. And that's why when you start looking at a lot of these players with the right mentality, you'll be surprised because a lot of them, people didn't necessarily say they were the best at the time. But as time went on, they realized, man, these guys are the best. Why? Because of their work ethic. Because of their work ethic. And they outwork everybody. And because they outwork everybody, they become the best. But I'm just saying, I appreciate y'all comments. And again, when you think about what Woody is talking about, see, notice, I've noticed this about Emmett. I've noticed this about Michael. And even Woodson is saying it. He doesn't mention that we were the most talented team. He doesn't mention, yeah, we were the most talented team. No, the Dallas Cowboys actually get mad when you say they were the most talented team because they're saying it's not the talent that helped us win in 1992 and 93. It was our mentality. I agree with them. I agree. It was their mentality. It was their mentality. Man, people don't even realize Emmitt Smith was not looked at while he was running in 1992 even. I mean, people thought he was great, but they didn't think he was the best running back. I mean, Alex Marino. Man, a lot of people don't even realize Thurman Thomas and how good he was. Man, it was some great players during the 1992-93 seasons. It was some great players. But there was no team better than the Cowboys. There was no team better than the Cowboys. And this is what Jerry got to get back to. There was no team better than the 92-93 Cowboys. And this is what the Cowboys are struggling with. I've said this before. They're struggling trying to be the best team again, and they keep getting beat to the punch. This year, the Seattle Seahawks, they are the best team in the NFL. They should beat the Patriots. I believe they should beat the Patriots and probably beat them down. I mean, if this is close, something is wrong. The Seattle Seahawks should do a number on the Patriots. Why? They're the best team. Sam Darnold isn't the best quarterback. Njigba, he's top 3. But who's his counterpart? The running back. Who is he? He's not the best running back in the league. DeMarcus Lawrence, he ain't tearing it up over there. But their team, they have the most complete team in the NFL. This is what Jerry has got to get back to. He's got to figure out, how do we become the best team again? How do we do
it? To many reasons for that, but as you see it, what's the primary reason for this drought?
You know, it's hard to put your finger on it. If I could, I'm sure the Cowboys and so many others would be able to solve that mystery. But look, I think it starts from the top. It really does. I mean, leadership is everything to get there. And if you just look at what's happening now in the NFC and in the last few years, just looking at the coaches or the teams that have gotten there. This year is Vrabel in his first year with the Patriots back as head coach, and then what McDonald's doing up in Seattle. 2 guys that hadn't been there that long, but they both play what? They both win 2 phases of the game, and that's defense and on special teams.
Yeah. See, he's bringing up the 2 teams. See, they're the best teams. This is the part people are missing. They're the best teams. There are players out there that are more talented than the players the Seahawks and the Patriots have. But they are the best team. And notice, when he starts talking about the top, he's talking about the coach. Now, they're going to coerce the Jerry Jones thing out of him because everybody wants to blame Jerry Jones, and I'm not going to have that argument. But what he's talking about is the coach right now. It starts at the top with the coach. And that's why, for me, this second year for Brian Schottenheimer, man, y'all, if y'all don't understand what this means, I don't know what else to tell you. But this second season for Brian Schottenheimer, man, this is it. Bro, this is the year. Brian's got to do something in the second year. And I'm sorry, we can't hear, hey, yeah, man, it's Christian Parker's first year. I'm not telling y'all Christian Parker has to have a top 5 defense. I'm not even telling you he's had to have a top 10, top 15. But what I am telling you is a 7-10 season, an 8-9 season, a 9-8 season. Nah, that ain't going to be good enough. No, that's not going to be good enough. No, you got to get double-digit wins. Vrabel, Super Bowl. McDonald, Super Bowl, second season. Ben Johnson, second round of the playoffs, first season. I mean, you got to really understand what he's up against. Jacksonville Jaguars coach, what is it? Was his first season? I mean, you got to start looking at, hey, man, there's just some expectations. The days of coaches getting 9 years to get to their first playoff game, 5 years to get to your first playoff game, not tolerated, not no more. It's not tolerated. It's not tolerated to have 5 years to get to a first playoff game, even 4 years. And definitely when you have a quarterback of the caliber of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, when you got the weapons and the offense, no. You don't get 3 years. No, year 2, you better be knocking on the door. Year 2, you better be knocking on the door. And year 3, we better be in. But I'm telling you now, Jerry's expecting in next year. I guarantee you. Jerry's expecting in next year. Or 2026, because I am too. 72 Chevelle said, I don't know, but there's a lot of people not born yet or just saw games played in the 90s Cowboys. But I was at all 8 Super Bowls, and my eyes were 2020. So comparing them is just frustration for different generations. Yeah. But you know, 72 Chevelle, we don't have to compare talent. Because talent is not the problem in this league. When you start comparing eras, you have to compare mentality. Because mentality is what the difference is. What we're watching today, we even see this in our own life. Our generation versus the younger generation. The younger generation don't have the same mentality that we have because they're in this social media era. They're in this social justice era. They're in this victimhood era. They're in this everybody owe me something era. But in my era and the people who came before me, it was about give me the opportunity. Work hard for what you get. Nobody owes you nothing. If you want it, go out there and get it. You work hard for it. It's the mentality that you compare from era to era because you don't have to, it's not the talent, it's the mentality. It's the same. It's up and down every era. But mentality will get you places the talent won't get you. Mentality will get you places that talent will not get you. Your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. Mentality, though, will take you places that your talent could never take you to where your morals become the reason why you made it. It's a difference when you talk about talent and mentality. I'm telling you, man, this is where Jerry has been missing it. He's been missing it with the mentality of the team. And what he has to understand, and what I think he's starting to understand too, in the twilight years is, Jerry, you can't be the one who set that mentality. You can't be the one. Woody is saying it. It's got to come from a coach. It's got to come from the coach. That's what Jerry did in 88 through 93. That mentality came from the coach. But then Jerry is so, he wants that credit so bad. Well, he's got to come in and find a way, in his eyes, he's got to come in and find a way to get some credit. Man, I don't give a care about no credit. Because when it's all said and done in the end, look at Robert Kraft. Look at how much credit Robert Kraft gets. Robert Kraft gets credit for just staying out of the way. He's looked at as one of the greatest owners ever because he stays out of the way. And now he's in another Super Bowl. Rumbowski said technically Bobby Knight told NBA teams that Jordan would be the best basketball player of all time after he coached them on the 84 Olympic team. Well, by that time, by the time Jordan hit the Olympics, I mean, the word was already, by that time, people are starting to realize that Jerry is him. I mean, I'm sorry that Michael is him. But Michael had even more for him. Alex said Jerry Rice had brick hands. He worked hard. He worked with his dad as a mason. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, people don't understand Jerry had to work to become what he was. Frederick Johnson, MJ wasn't even the best player on the North Carolina basketball team. But what made him so special, Frederick, he outworked everybody. He outworked everybody, man. And that's why I say the difference is mentality. That's the difference, man. It's mentality. Mose Logan said Jada Kidd said he's seen a guy better than Jordan, but didn't get that break. Well, I can tell you this, it's mentality. Man, Mose Logan, let me tell you something. We had a guy when I was playing football in school. I'm just telling y'all right now, and this is even proving my point even more. Jada Kidd said he's seen a guy better than Jordan. You know what he's talking about? Talent. He's not talking about mentality. He's not talking about mentality. I'm sure at Parks there are people that are more talented, that were probably more talented than NBA players. I'm telling you now, I got a cousin that played basketball back in the day. Man, if you'd have saw him play, NBA. Man, he used to go over to the college after he graduated high school. Man, he used to go over there and play with them dudes at the college. Man, I couldn't believe when I saw him play. I'm not even exaggerating. I couldn't believe when I saw my cousin play. He was left-handed, but he was ambidextrous. He could take you to the right. He could take you to the left. I mean, he could do, man, anything you name. They used to call him, as a matter of fact, and I'm not exaggerating, they called him Baby Jordan when they see him play. He's like 6, I think he's about 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". This dude could play. He would run circles around them top college dudes. They would bring him all the way from New York to play at this certain college in our area. He would run circles around these dudes, be dunking on them. I mean, but the talent isn't what gets you to the pros. Mentality. Mentality says, and this is that era they came from. Mentality says, okay, I got the talent, but I got to go to college to get to where I want to go. That's mentality. I got to do what I don't want to do what I want to do. That's mentality. That's the difference in so many people. I'm telling you, I'm positive my cousin could have made it to the NBA if it was just about talent. But mentality, he would have had to go to school. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. And school ain't for everybody. He didn't want to do that. There was a guy when I played in school. This dude could outrun us in cowboy boots. I'm not exaggerating. Our coach at the time saw him playing. Our coach, we used to go out there and race. And our coach saw him outrunning us in cowboy boots. Put him on the football team. And when it came to plays, he had to learn the plays and where to run, what hole to run through. I mean, when he had to learn the plays, mentality. He didn't have the mentality for it. He didn't want to do it. Man, talent is not what gets you to where you want to be. It's the mentality that gets you there. It's the mentality. It's the mentality. The mentality gets you where you want to be. It is. Ron Hanna said there are no more excuses for Shotty. Results are expected. Ron Hanna. And you know why results are expected, Ron Hanna? Because of what's going on around Brian Schottenheimer. I'm telling y'all now, man, Ben Johnson done messed it up for Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Mike Vrabel. They have messed it up for these coaches that are new, because this is what happened with Patrick Mahomes. This is what has happened with these young players, these young quarterbacks. They come in and everybody says the standard has been raised. It is what it is. Dominique said, gee, you keep saying Shotty has to do something, but Jerry has to give him this. No, Dominique, I'm not giving you this. Brian Schottenheimer, best offensive weapons in the game. And just because he scored a lot of points, he should have scored even more points. Man, the Cowboys left so many points on the doggone field. So many points. Dominique, I can go down the row of the Cowboys schedule. Shotty dominated the sorry teams. But when we go down the line of this year of the good teams, Brian Schottenheimer's offense got stopped more often than not. You don't get to have the best quarterback, a top 3 quarterback, 2 top 3 wide receivers. You don't get to have that. A top 5 run game. You don't get to have all that, and you're not scoring more points. We scored a lot of points against bad teams. But when we came up against the Denvers, when we came up against the Chicagos, when we came up against the putrid Arizona Cardinals, when we came up against the good teams, Brian Schottenheimer fell short. Bottom line. Bottom line. Brian Schottenheimer fell short. Jerry is going to get Schottenheimer the players. And he got him the players on offense. That offense this year, I don't care what anyone says, it was not successful because of Brian Schottenheimer. That offense was successful because of Dak Prescott. We've seen Dak Prescott do that with Jason Garrett. We saw him do it with Mike McCarthy. We saw him do it with Kellen Moore. I'm not giving Brian Schottenheimer credit for Dak Prescott putting up numbers when we know Dak Prescott puts up numbers. Even if they hadn't got Brian Schottenheimer, Dak was still going to put up numbers. I am not giving Brian Schottenheimer, as much as I like Brian Schottenheimer, I am not giving Brian Schottenheimer the credit for what Dak Prescott has been doing long before he got here. Brian Schottenheimer wants to impress me. Brian Schottenheimer, show me something that we haven't seen without Dak. Show me something that we haven't seen with Dak Prescott. Show me that. Show me something that we have not seen. I've seen Dak Prescott put up 4,000 plus yards. I've seen him throw a bunch of touchdowns. I've seen him extend plays. I would like to see some stuff like I've been seeing from the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, their play caller is bar none. Man, this dude calls some of the most slickest plays you've ever seen. Show me some of that stuff. Show me some Kyle Shanahan stuff. Show me some Sean McVay stuff. All I'm saying is show some innovation. Because I got news for you, Dominique. You don't get to keep getting new defensive coordinators and get another year of saying, well, because we got to let Christian Parker get acclimated and let him get used to all the players, then we're going to give you another 7-9-1 or 7-10 season. It don't work like that, bro. No, we are expecting results because you already have a top offense. Problem is you can't do anything. Your offense can't do anything against good teams. Offense got dominated against good teams. Dominique, I disagree. He doesn't need the Seattle Seahawks defense to be better than 7-10. Brian Schottenheimer should be able to be better than 7-10, even if he has a mid-pack defense, of which I do believe they're going to find a way to have a mid-pack defense. Could be even better. But they are going to, I believe they're going to have a mid-pack defense. I don't see this defense being anywhere less than 21, 22 at the worst. I literally see them being somewhere between 17 and 22. Probably closer to 17. And by the end of the season, because I believe Jerry's going to get him the players. Jerry's going to get him the players. You got 2 number 1 draft picks. They're going to go in free agency. They're going to bust the bank. No, there are going to be expectations, and there will be no excuses for Brian Schottenheimer. None. Absolutely none, and I'm telling you, whether you like that or not, or anybody else like that or not, Jerry is not about to give Brian Schottenheimer no doggone 9 years, 6 years, 5 years to fix this team. No, Jerry's expecting results in 2026. I promise you he is.
That to me is the recipe. Look, I love offense. Speaking from a defensive standpoint, but I love offense. But I think sometimes we get caught up in the glitz and the glam, and don't think about the guys in the trenches, the linebackers, the safeties, the guys who are running down on special teams at the same time. Sometimes you can't just be pretty. You can't be cute all the time. You got to get better in the middle of that defense and on special teams. And I think that's where the key is for this Cowboys team. They got to get back to the basics, just blocking and tackling. Don't worry about being pretty and cute. Find ways to win games. And the way you win games is you win them in the trenches.
Now, we've talked about this before. And so Jerry's already got his offense. They took the first year of this thing to build the offense. This is going to be the year of the defense. I've already said this before. This is going to be the year of the defense. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to do a show. I've been concocting up a show to show where Jerry actually thought, and, Jerry's got to own this part. Jerry actually thought they were going to fix the defense this year with Matt Eberflus. And I don't care what anybody say, nobody was talking about Matt Eberflus before the season. I'm the only person that I could think of that had anything hardly to say about Matt Eberflus. Because I talked about how I was worried about Matt Eberflus and that bend don't break defense. I don't remember many people being alarmed about Matt Eberflus' defense. Jerry thought he had the defense fixed. Man, I can remember when they got Kenneth Murray. There were people even saying, man, they got Kenneth Murray. Man, they're going to be this and they're going to be that. They finally got a linebacker. Because I'm telling you, I thought the best thing they did was the defense. Think about it. Jack Sanborn. Man, Jack Sanborn played way better in Chicago. And I got a feeling Jack Sanborn going to leave Dallas. Jack Sanborn, we're going to be hearing about him in another year, and we're going to see how good he's been playing. They tried to go defense this past year. Man, nobody didn't. And again, I'm just being honest. The season is over with. Nobody thought Jack Sanborn was going to be bad. Nobody thought Kyrie Elam was going to be bad. He was the star of training camp. Man, nobody thought Kyrie Elam was going to be bad. A lot of people didn't anticipate Michael Parsons being traded. Trayvon Diggs, I don't know what people were thinking. People were anticipating DeRon Bland was going to be healthy. But in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people thought that Matt Eberflus was going to be a good coach, and they thought the Cowboys would probably be somewhere around mid-pack, and the Cowboys would do better. Problem is, they didn't do better. They didn't do better. And I think one of the biggest things that happened with Matt Eberflus, and this is why I think Matt Eberflus has got to go back and do some soul searching, I don't think it was Matt Eberflus' scheme as much as Matt Eberflus' mentality. Matt Eberflus' mentality messed this thing up. And I still say Matt Eberflus was coaching like, this isn't the year we're supposed to be good on defense. Next year will be that year. So I'm just going to lazily run 97, 96% zone. Dominique says, so if they don't fix that defense, you're still expecting Shotty to win. Now, Dominique, watch this. Appreciate that super chat. I'm expecting the defense to be fixed, but the question is, how much will it be fixed? How much will it be fixed? I believe Christian Parker will get this defense to somewhere between 17 and 21. There is no way Christian Parker is going to be, because I'm telling y'all now, if Christian Parker, once the Cowboys get this, because what's going to make this all come into play in fruition, it's the players they're going to get Christian Parker. Let me tell you something. I'm willing to bet you, and I'm not a gambling man, they are about to get Christian Parker some players out of this world. You watch what I tell you. They want a Super Bowl bad, and they want it now. They are going to get Christian Parker some players out of this world. The Cowboys, I believe, are going to go for Trey Hendrickson. If they don't get Trey Hendrickson, and I do think they're going to try to get an edge rusher in free agency, there is one player out there that if they told me they would give up one of those first round draft picks for, and they could get him, it's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett seems to be trying once again to get his way out of Cleveland. He seems to be once again trying to get his way out of Cleveland. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but all I'm going to tell you is this. They are going to get an edge rusher, and there are going to be edge rushers available in this free agency. I think they're going to get one of them. They're going to get Christian Parker, the edge rusher that he needs. They're going to go in a draft. They're going to get him the best cornerback in the draft, and I believe they'll get him one of the best linebackers in this draft. So once you get to that, now you got to work on your safeties. I think they'll get a safety in free agency. A safety in free agency. And so the Cowboys are going to get the players for Christian Parker. Because we got to understand something. We're gonna talk about this more when we get to Stephen Jones tonight. They're already telling you, no. And I noticed this when I was listening to Stephen Jones. I noticed something that he talked about. The plan they have for the players that are already here. The plan they have for the players that are already here on defense. And I'm telling you now, this is why Brian Schottenheimer is not going to get the leeway, because they think they already have some of these players on defense. And what they're expecting Christian Parker to come in here and do is to work with the players that they have, and then they're going to get him other players to go with those. The Cowboys are expecting results. They're not getting Christian Parker to sit back and go, well, we got to let Christian Parker get acclimated, so we don't mind if it's 7 and 10, 8 and 9. They're not doing that. I'm telling you now, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. They are going to go out there and they're going to get Christian Parker the best defense they're going to be able to get this offseason. And they're not going to go for this. Yeah, now we got to give him another year. They're not going for that. I'm telling you now. They're not going for that. They are going to get Christian Parker the defense that he wants. And I'm going to prove it to you by what Stephen Jones said. Jaden Justin said, if we had a mid-pack defense, we beat the Bears, the Eagles, the Panthers, and even the Broncos. Agreed. Jaden Justin, and this is what they're going to get Shotty. They're going to get him a mid-pack defense. They're going to get him a mid-pack defense. I'm telling you, they are expecting results. They're not giving him a year. And again, I'm going to let you hear. Stephen Jones says this with his own mouth. And I think they've even told Christian Parker this. Y'all might not believe this, but I kind of gasped when I heard it. Y'all do realize that the Cowboys actually believe they have the players on defense. And it was Matt Eberflus who couldn't bring the best out of them. And I'm going to prove it to you. Yeah, I'm going to prove it to you because Stephen Jones absolutely says it. They're saying Matt Eberflus couldn't bring it out of the players that they have. And they believe they had good enough players even this year to be somewhere around mid-pack. And some out there even agree. The Cowboys would have been better defensively. They would have been better defensively with somebody else, even with the players that we have. Because I've even heard some of y'all say that.
Let me ask a really unfair question, but during this drought, has Jerry been more of the problem or the solution?
Now, notice this. I noticed this when I listened to this because they didn't like the fact, and I don't know if they didn't like it, but I don't think they liked the fact that when Woodson started talking, that Woodson didn't put all the blame on Jerry when he said it starts at the top. Now, we got to understand where Woody is coming from. Woody comes from the era of when Jerry was here. But he's also coming from the era of when Jimmy was here. And that for Darren, the top was Jimmy. And so Darren, in that segment, when he's talking about from the top and talking about coaching and stuff like that, because that's kind of how they did it. So, of course, they come back and they got to drag it out of him about Jerry. What do you think is the biggest problem? So we already know that's Jerry Jones they want to allude to. So now they just go ahead and say Jerry.
Well, hey, look, I'm a business owner. So when things don't go well, guess who gets the blame?
You.
I'm getting the blame. And Jerry's absolutely getting the blame for.
Now, I noticed something that people did. When I saw the headlines on this, and I even think it might have been Mike Fisher, they said, or somebody else, and I don't want to put this on Mike Fisher, but somebody wrote that Darren Woodson blames Jerry for the failures or admits that Jerry is the reason for the failures. But they're just taking this out of context. He's saying this in a generality form. And let me explain what this means. You can be the best manager in the world. You can be the best general manager in the world. You can be the best leader in the world. When your team wins, you ever notice that when your team wins, people on the team get the credit? When your team loses, you get the blame. You get most of the blame. because people are saying that it's something that you're doing and you have not done right. So when he's talking about Jerry, he's talking about from a general perspective that if you are the general manager, because this is how it goes for every other team. If the team fails, the general manager is the one that gets all. I mean, Minnesota, they just fired their general manager. When everything goes bad, it's the general manager. When everything is going good, it's the quarterback. It's the quarterback. It's the quarterback. It's the wide receiver. It's the defensive end you picked up. It's the cornerback you got. It's everybody but the GM. So he's talking about more from a generality standpoint, but they don't get the whole or the gist of what he says out of this. Check this part out.
For this, and the entire organization deserves that blame at the same time. But look, they put good teams out there.
Did y'all notice? Jerry gets the brunt of the blame because top-down GM. But did you notice what he just said? Jerry isn't the only blame. He said it's the organization. He's talking about people from within. And he's also talking about they've had some teams that should have won. They've had some teams that should have won. Because who will not disagree? Let's think about this. Jerry has gambled on some people that have let him down. Jerry has absolutely gambled on some people that have let him down. Matt Eberflus let Jerry down. Jerry thought Matt Eberflus was going to be way better. We would have to be crazy to think that Jerry got Matt Eberflus thinking he was going to be this bad. Jerry looked at Flus's track record and thought he would be better. But I'm telling y'all, I think Flus came in here with a mentality of, well, I got it made. I can pretty much do what I want to do. This is Jerry, and we got this relationship, and shoddy first-time coach, and I'm just coaching with comfortability. Matt Eberflus betrayed Jerry. He absolutely did, because Jerry didn't hire Matt Eberflus to fail. He hired him to succeed. We got players that have failed Jerry. This is why I'm telling y'all right now. I told y'all this the other day. Man, I am so happy for DeMarcus Lawrence. But what I'm not going to do is let DeMarcus Lawrence sit up and gloat talking about we were never going to win a Super Bowl. Well, one of the reasons why we were never going to win a Super Bowl, can we acknowledge that he was a part of the reason why we were never going to win a Super Bowl? Because Jerry paid him all that money, and just like Trayvon Diggs, he couldn't stay healthy during the contract? Is anybody going to acknowledge this? Bro, you're one of the reasons why. We paid you to be a pass rusher. You turned into a run stopper. We paid you to be a pass rusher. You couldn't stay on the field. And you're running around here talking about we were tired, bro. You were talking about your own mentality. And if you were out there playing tired, then what does that say about what your performance out there on the field? Maybe we need to question whether or not DeMarcus Lawrence was actually giving it his all while he was in Dallas. Has anybody thought about that? Jerry has invested in people who have let him down. Listen to Darren Woodson as he explains this.
Same time, but look, they put good teams out there. Let's not just blame Jerry and the organization for all that's happened over the last 30 years. There's been some good teams. Tony Romo had some good teams that could have went and won the Super Bowl. So he did put some good products out there. They just couldn't.
Uh-oh. Did y'all notice something that Darren Woodson said? Darren Woodson said, and I quote, Jerry put some good teams around Tony Romo. Did you notice who he didn't say Jerry has put some good teams around? I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. But did you notice? He didn't say Jerry had put some good players around, some good teams around Dak Prescott. He said he put some good teams around Tony Romo. And I'm going to tell you about Tony Romo. Tony Romo is one of these players that suffers from what I've explained earlier. I keep telling people do not understand how talented Tony Romo was. Miss Matrix, I'm going to give you credit. Yep, you said before the season, this defense, nope. I'm going to give you credit. I'm telling y'all, man, I've told y'all this before. People don't understand how naturally gifted Tony Romo is. Tony Romo is naturally gifted. Naturally gifted, man. Dak Prescott had to work to get to the quarterback that he is today. Tony Romo, shoot. Man, Tony Romo didn't even work hard. Tony Romo didn't work hard until his last deal. And that's because they put that stipulation in the deal. Man, Tony Romo was good at football, good at golf, good at basketball. Tony Romo, this dude was just so talented. Tony didn't put the work in. And Tony didn't have the mentality. Tony didn't have the mentality. And that's what got Tony Romo. That's exactly what got Tony Romo. And that's why Woody is saying, man, they put some teams around Tony Romo. Let me look at something real quick. I meant to look this up before I came on. I got sidetracked. Okay, so in 2007, and I'm telling y'all now, I want you to think about Dak Prescott. I want y'all to think about Dak Prescott. Tony Romo had the number 1 seed at 13-3 in 2007. The number 1 seed, and got beat by the New York Giants. The number 1 seed. Under Dak Prescott, at least to my understanding, I don't think we've had the number 1 seed. Let me think. 2014. 2014, I think we did. And I'm not sure we were the number 1. I thought we were the number 1 seed maybe in 2014. Number 3, maybe we were the, let's see. But in 2007, and I understand what Darren Woodson is saying, and I don't want to be a hypocrite as I talk about this, about Tony Romo. I don't think Tony Romo had the teams that Troy Aikman had. Let's be clear about that. Tony Romo didn't have those kind of teams. But what I will say is that they did have some teams that I think had they had a different mentality, I do think they could have won. But that one year, they went down to Jason Witten and Tony Romo went down to Cabo, or they went whatever they went. And they came back and they got spanked. And that might have been 2007. They got spanked. And they just didn't have the mentality, man. They just didn't have the mentality, because I'm telling you, one of the problems with Tony Romo, he's just too freaking talented. And this is why Tony Romo would crumble during some of the biggest moments. because he didn't have the mentality to handle those moments. Tony Romo had the talent to handle those moments. He didn't have the mentality. Angel Eyes said, yeah, I believe they're going to set Parker up for success this upcoming season. Angel Eyes, welcome to the congregation tonight. There's no way. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. The Cowboys, let me tell you something. They want him to succeed bad because they don't want to do this again. They don't want to do this again. They do not want to do this again. And they don't want to wait another year. They don't want to wait on Christian Parker another year. Dominique said, oh, yes, it will. I do think a mid-pack defense will cut it. I do. Their defense, because a mid-pack defense this year would have got the Cowboys at least 3 to 4 more wins. I disagree. A mid-pack defense would have beat the Green Bay Packers. We had Green Bay's number. We'd have beat the Green Bay Packers. A mid-pack defense beats the Philadelphia Eagles not once but twice. You already got 2 more wins right there. A mid-pack defense beats the Carolina Panthers. That gets you the 10 wins right there. A mid-pack defense beats the Arizona Cardinals. That gets you 11 wins right there. I mean, you could just go down the line. A mid-pack defense absolutely beats at least 4 more teams this year. There's no doubt about it, Dominique. There's no doubt about it. A mid-pack defense. And the reason why I know this to be true is because the Rams, with a mid-pack defense, got to the NFC Championship game. The Rams are they are a mid-pack defense, man. The Rams are a mid defense. They have their moments, but they're mid at best. The Cowboys, if there's ever been a season that the Cowboys could have went forward with a mid-pack defense, it's this year. It's this year. Man, let me tell you something that's even crazier. Let this stick in your brain. The Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken, they have the number 1 overall defense. What happens if the referees actually call that face mask call against the Rams on that last drive? What do you think happens? The Rams could have beat the Seattle Seahawks. They absolutely could have beat the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, a mid-pack defense for the Cowboys would have got them way further this year. Would have got them way further. You got to think what a mid-pack defense would have did for the Cowboys this year. A mid-pack defense for the Cowboys this year would have been able to get them. So let's think about the Rams. The Rams had a top 10 defense, so they say. But looking at the Rams, they didn't like to have a top 10 defense. But they were ranked in total yards allowed, they were ranked number 10. But in total defensive rank, they were 17th. Let that sink in. Total defensive rank, they're 17th. Yards per game, they're 17th. Let that sink in. Rushing TDs, they're number 1. Interceptions, they were 16. Overall, they're number 17. They get to the NFC Championship game. A mid-pack defense with a number 1 offense, you're going somewhere. You're going somewhere. And Dominique, that's not true. Because in actuality, there is a team that has not had the top defense in the league, and they have won the Super Bowl, and they did it multiple times. And it is the Kansas City Chiefs. So it can be done. Yeah, it can be done with a mid-pack defense. Bottom line, it can be done, and it could have been done this year because the Cowboys were that good. The Rams went to the NFC Championship game with a mid defense. They absolutely did. And one of the reasons why they were able to go to the NFC Championship game with a mid-pack defense is because they got a great offense. You got to understand, when you got the worst defense in the league, you don't get stops. But when you have a mid-pack defense, you are going to get some stops. And you're going to get some turnovers. And you are going to be in some situations where you're going to get your offense more possessions. And because you get those more possessions from a mid-pack defense, you're going to win more games. It's automatic. A mid-pack defense for the Dallas Cowboys this year. They absolutely. When you look at the Cowboys schedule, and when you look at the Cowboys, and I just want to look at the Cowboys losses, 2025. Let's look at the Cowboys losses. The Cowboys losses in 2025, they had 9 losses. And let's mention the tie. A mid-pack defense beats the Green Bay Packers. A mid-pack defense beats the Green Bay Packers. Let's look at the mid-pack. Let's look at the 9 teams we lost to. The 9 teams that we lost to. Let's see if I can get this pulled up. Hold on just a second. Nine teams, if I can't get it to pull up, I'll read them off to you. All right, hold on just a second. Yeah, I'm telling you that the Cowboys with a mid-pack defense, they absolutely win more games. Absolutely do. So let's look at these Cowboys games real quick. I believe the Cowboys sweep the Philadelphia Eagles with a mid-pack defense. They sweep the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not sure they beat Chicago. Chicago was better than what we thought. I do believe they beat the Carolina Panthers. I do believe they beat the Arizona Cardinals. I do believe they beat the Minnesota Vikings. I do believe they beat the the Los Angeles Chargers. And of course, they beat the New York Giants at the end. You're talking 5 games right there. That Dallas Cowboys 7-game the 7 losses for the Dallas Cowboys. That's 12 games. You win 12 games. There is no way with a mid-pack defense. And let's just take away with Philadelphia. Let's just say Philadelphia is still a split. I say you still beat Carolina. You still beat Arizona. You still beat Minnesota. You still beat the Giants. And you beat the Green Bay Packers. That's still 5 wins. Plus 7, that gives you 12 wins. No matter how you slice it with a mid-pack defense, the Cowboys would have won 12 games easy. Easy. Because, do the math. You got a top-ranked defense. You're going to get 2 to 3 more stops per game. You're going to get 2 to 3 more possessions per game. 2 to 3 more opportunities to score points with a high-powered offense. You're winning 12 games because this was the formula for Dan Quinn. It was the formula for Dan Quinn. This is how Dan Quinn kept the Cowboys winning. This is how we kept them winning. The Cowboys would have been better with a mid-pack defense. Christian Parker, I'm expecting to have a mid-pack defense. With a mid-pack defense, you get this offense more and more possessions, and they win. They win. I'm telling you, they win. Rabowski said a quarterback that has talent but then crumbles in the big moments. Why does that sound so familiar? That was the big issue with Tony Romo. Tony didn't have the mentality. Miss Matrix said, gee, I don't remember ever winning enough games under Garrett for the number 1 seed with Romo. Only Romo and Dak 2016. That's what I'm talking about. 2016. Oh, wait a minute. 2007 was under Parcells, I believe. 2014, Miss Matrix was the number 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the year of the catch. And we had to go to Green Bay. Yeah, 2016 Cowboys were the number 1 seed in the NFC. Yeah, 13-3. And I'm telling you, had the Cowboys got past the Green Bay Packers that year, I think the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. I think they go to the Super Bowl had they got past the Green Bay Packers, and should have got past the Green Bay Packers. Reggie, are you talking about just making it to the playoffs? No, I think the Cowboys could go to the Super Bowl even with a mid-pack. I think they could go with a mid-pack. I do. But if you want to be sure you're going to go, you need a top 10, top 5 defense. There's no doubt about it. Mid-pack defense, and we are at least 11-6 or 12-5. No doubt about it. And I'm telling us right now, the Rams with a mid-pack defense, they almost went to the Super Bowl. They almost went to the Super Bowl. And I still, hey man, had they called that doggone face mask call on Matthew Stafford, I think they're still going. I think they beat the Seattle defense. Comedian Alabama. Think about this. Welcome to the congregation. Comedian Alabama. And I would agree that the Seattle Seahawks have the best defense. Man, the Rams don't even have as good of an offense. They don't have the weapons even as good as the Cowboys. Man, Sean McVay went through that defense. Shoot, Sean McVay went through that Seattle defense, man. Got to give him credit. Sean McVay went through that dang on Seattle defense. They were a penalty away from beating the Seattle Seahawks. They were. Let me see here. This was Sean McVay. This was Sean McVay going against the Seattle defense. Number 1 overall defense. Excuse me. Sean McVay put 479 yards up on them boys. 365 passing yards, 114 rushing yards, 8.3 yards per play. Man, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they could have beat them. Now, what got them in trouble? They were 1 for 8 on third down. They were 1 for 8 on third down, and they had 1 fumble lost. They had 1 fumble loss, and of course, I still say they missed a face mask, and they've openly admitted this now, but there's nothing you can do about it. But they absolutely missed a face mask call that could have kept that drive going for the Rams, and I think they win the game. But nevertheless, or had a chance to win the game. But nevertheless, the Rams could be in the Super Bowl today. They're 1 drive away from the Super Bowl. 1 drive away. And if you think about it, the Rams, the way they're constructed as far as their offense go, they look similar to the Cowboys. They got Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. They got Matthew Stafford. They got a run game. They got a decent offensive line. I mean, they look very similar to the Dallas Cowboys. If there was ever a year the Cowboys with a mid-pack defense could have got to the Super Bowl, it was this year. And I think the Cowboys could have beat the Seattle Seahawks. I really do. But that defense, Big Robowski. He said Harbaugh coach circles around shouting that Sunday, Chargers would have stayed a loss. Man, we saw many times where Brian was out coached this season. We saw many instances of this past season. All right, man. I appreciate the dialogue y'all giving me, Dominic. You know it's all love. Man, I appreciate the comments from all of y'all, man. Best chat on YouTube. Jaden Justin said what they are saying, Jizz, even with that mid-pack defense getting to the playoffs, your defense would have to step up because offense would be limited due to weather cold. Well, Jaden Justin, think about this. The weather wouldn't have got the Cowboys because we'd have been playing in the dome. We would have played, if we'd have got 12 wins, we'd probably got the first 2 games at home. We would have been division winners. I know we'd have got the first game at home. And we had a run game. So that travels. So I think we could have, I say with a mid-pack defense, because I'm telling you now, this is probably what we're going to have for the Cowboys this coming year starting out. But I do think as we get towards the end of the season, I think the Cowboys defense will get better. I'm just telling y'all now. I'm going out on a limb. I'm expecting big things from the Cowboys defense this year. Because I believe that Christian Parker has the right mentality. I believe he has the right mentality. And I think Jerry is going to get this man the players. They're going to get him the players. Because this isn't going to work even with... If they don't get Christian Parker the players, it's not going to work. I understand they got some of the players, but I think they need more players.
And get over the hump, but it always starts, Deuce, Sam. It always starts from the top up, top down.
All right, let's go to number 3, this defense. You were talking about how important that aspect of the game is. Obviously, you're one of the all-time great safeties, but the defense was a mess last year. The team hires Philadelphia assistant Christian Parker, just 34 years old, as defensive coordinator. I guess in your experience, Woody, how much difference can a voice from the defensive coordinator make?
Let me read this right here. I made this same point the other day, Dominique, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not on the. I'm so glad that DeMarcus Lawrence is getting his Super Bowl. But what I'm not putting up with is DeMarcus Lawrence getting out of Dallas, talking all this noise, like he wasn't a part of the reason why we couldn't win a Super Bowl when he was here. Man, DeMarcus Lawrence robbed the Cowboys. He literally was hurt for a whole season. And I question whether or not he was hurt. He got hurt during week 4 in 2024. We didn't see him again. He was hurt in what, 2021? And even in the years he wasn't hurt for long games. Man, DeMarcus Lawrence missed so many games. It was absolutely pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. This is why I'm not jiving with DeMarcus Lawrence like that. I'm happy for him. But here, we needed DeMarcus Lawrence to be the man, and we paid him to be the man, and he wasn't the man. In Seattle, they're not paying him to be the man. They're paying him to be extra, and that's what he's doing. So I'm happy for him. Just don't roll up out of here running your mouth. Derek Rose said, "G, do you believe that Dak has the mentality to get the team over the hump? I'm still a little on the fence regarding Dak. However, I do believe with a mid-pack defense, we'll win at least 12 games. Derek Rose, let me tell you about Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott had the mentality in 2016. He's a rookie. In the 12-win season stints, I think Dak needed more. But where Dak is right now, Dak has the mentality to get us over the hump. Where Dak Prescott is mentally right now, this is why we need to be operating within the framework. We need to be operating in the framework of getting the defense on the other side of Dak Prescott that we need, because when we get Dak Prescott in those situations in the next 2 to 3 seasons, Dak Prescott is going to rise to the occasion. He's where he needs to be now. He's where he needs to be now. Mentality-wise, Dak is there. This is why you got to strike while the iron is hot. Dak is there now. Oh, yeah, I believe he has it.
To that unit.
Yeah, his voice and personnel. Look, he can't just be the voice. Talking to guys that probably shouldn't be on the field, but they're going to have to do a better job on personnel and bringing in football players, like guys that love the game, guys that want to play, not only line up on on regular defense, but run down on special teams that are excited about football. And then when you bring in a voice that can get them lined up, get them be creative in his defensive calling, and get the team rallied on that side of the ball, then you have something special. But this is not going to this is going to be a tough ride for Coach Parker. It's not like he's just going to walk in to a team that right now, personnel wise, if you're looking at a defense, is probably on the lower end in the NFL. They have to get better on the personnel side and allow Parker to do his job.
Which I think they're going to do.
With the Cowboys picking 12 and 20, are you going with 2 defensive guys? If you're the front office, are you picking 2 defensive guys?
Sam, I'm so far outside of the draft right now.
Yeah.
2 and what's
Robert Dudley. Let me read what you said here. I don't think Matt Eberflus put his best foot forward for Jerry Jones. He didn't. Robert Dudley, I'm telling you, he didn't. Matt Eberflus was operating within a framework like he had it made. And that basically he could just buy his time until Jerry got him the players. And he failed. And he failed miserably. And you're right, he fleeced Jerry. Absolutely. Yes, he did. Now the good thing is, from what my understanding is, Robert Dudley, reading the contract now that I understand about coaches, so you actually don't get to double dip. The only thing happens is when you're under contract with one team and you get fired and you go coach with another team, the only thing happens is your salary gets offset. So if you were making $4 million for the Bears and then you come here and you're making $5 million, well, you don't get to make $9 million. You get to make the $5 million. You get that extra $1 million, but you don't get those extra $4 million to make it $9 million. I didn't understand that at first, but now I get it. Ice Cold Cowboy, what's going on? Keek said if we play Seattle this year, JSN would have had a half a year worth of stats in one game. No doubt about it. Everybody did on us. But they won't have it this year. I guarantee you. The Cowboys, watch what I tell y'all. The Cowboys are going to get better faster than you believe. They're going to get better faster than you believe. Because any other coach probably would have had this defense at mid-pack. Some of this, I think we can attribute to Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus was very lazy. Matt Eberflus was very, very lazy. Matt Eberflus was coaching here like he had job security. Christian Parker, you watch what I tell y'all. Christian Parker, the reason why I'm glad we got Christian Parker is going to be coaching like somebody with something to prove. Christian Parker is going to be coaching like somebody with something to prove. And I believe this young man is going to bring a mentality to this team that we've been dreaming of for years. Yeah, I think he's going to be good. I really do. I think Christian Parker is going to be great. Samuel Porter said GCP going to be heaven sent if they allow him to put his imprint on this defense. They're going to do it. They're going to do it, Sam. Let me tell you something about the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are proving a lot of people wrong, and I'm glad they are. Let me tell you what I'm glad of. I'm glad that the Cowboys didn't hire Christian Parker because he's black. That's number one. I'm glad they didn't hire Christian Parker because he's black. But he is black. And the thing that I really like about the Cowboys, that they're not seeing color with Christian Parker. They, from what it sounds like to me, and this is why I want to play that Stephen Jones interview, if we can get to it. They believe in Christian Parker. They believe in it. it didn't sound like to me when they got Matt Eberflus. I'm not sure they believed in Matt Eberflus. But when I hear them talk about Christian Parker, they sound like they believe in Christian Parker. They believe in him. And if you didn't see my video the other day, I'm gonna let you in on. You're gonna see what I mean when I tell you they believe in Christian Parker. And I think Christian Parker is going to turn this defense around faster than anybody imagined. He's gonna turn it around faster.
What? But if you're just looking at this team, look, you saw them get a little bit better when they went and got, the guy from the Jets when they made some personnel changes up front and brought in guys, but they have to get better up the middle of that defense. Parcells used to always say, hey, you win games in the middle of the defense, D-line, linebackers, all the way up through the safeties. And I think that's where they're weak right now. I think they're extremely weak in that aspect. So, what
I think Darren Woodson just made a great observation about the Cowboys. This is the same problem the Cowboys had even last year. They fixed the middle somewhat with the defensive tackles. I think they fixed that part. But when you talk about the middle of the field, Darren Woodson is talking like somebody who understands defense, which I know he does, and he's talking like somebody who's been there and done it at the highest level. The middle of your defense, you don't hear most people explain it like this, because I haven't heard anybody explain it like this, but it's so powerful what he's explaining. Darren said the middle of your defense is the middle, it's the tackles on the line, it's the linebackers, in particular that wheel, I'm sure, the linebackers and the safeties. A lot of times when people think about the middle of a defense, they just think defensive tackles. Woody is saying, no, because I was the middle of the defense, because he was. Woody was a part of the middle of the defense. Woody could play the pass. Woody could play the run. He could play corner. He could play linebacker. He could play safety. He played the middle of the field, and people were afraid of Darren Woodson. They were afraid of Darren Woodson. And so I think he's making an excellent point about the Cowboys. And I do think this is where the Cowboys are going to focus this year. They're going to focus on the middle of the field. They're going to get that wheel linebacker. They're going to get the safety or safeties. And they're going to get an edge rusher because they've already fixed the defensive line. When the Cowboys get the right linebacker and when they get the right pair of safeties, they're going to be ready to go. They are going to be ready to go. I hope they get two of them in free agency. I hope they get the edge rusher in free agency, and I hope they get the safety in free agency. They should be able to take care of those two in free agency. And as far as the cornerbacks go, draft. Go in the draft at number 12, get the best cornerback available. Bar none. Bar none. Get the best cornerback available. Best cornerback available. And if you can get, if the guy from Ohio State falls there, get him at the safety position. But if not, you get the best linebacker at 20, and you're good to go. All right, let's keep.
Whether it be through free agency, whether it be, through the draft, they got to get depth in those positions and make it competitive. It can't just be, well, I have a star player and he no longer has to compete. You have to compete week in and week out. And I think that's what made the Jimmy Johnson teams so special back in the 90s, is every game, every practice was competition and you had to compete for your spot.
And see, one of the things that has happened with this league is that you don't have the depth that Darren is talking about. You don't have the depth like you used to have in this league. I talked about this before. The blue collar players. In this NFL, you're either a high paid player or a low paid player. And you very rarely find those mid paid players. So we got to get better at we got to get those mid level players. We got to get better in that instance. Because a lot of times we're top heavy. We got the Pro Bowlers, but everything else in between, we don't have it. Now, we got to get the whole thing. We got to get the whole thing. Rumbowski, hey, let me read your comment, Rumbowski. Yeah, I still say Eberflus. I still say he fleeced Jerry. And the reason why I say that, Big Rumbowski, is that anytime I hire somebody who is a friend, there's just a certain level. There's just a certain level that I expect you to perform at. When I hire you, I don't expect you to come in and say, "Yeah, man, I'm friends with the owner," or he hired me. I expect you to go above and beyond. And Jerry fleeced himself by hiring him and not willing to listen to anybody else around him that might have objected. Big Rumbowski, I'm just telling you, Jerry threw everybody under the bus. Big Rumbowski, what did Jerry say? Matt Eberflus would not have been here if Steven didn't want him here, and he said that Brian Schottenheimer was instrumental in him being here. I'm telling you. He said it, I didn't. Newhouse fan, what's going on? All right, let's keep listening to Woods.
All right, let's go to number 4 now. Woody, you are again a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You'll learn your fate during the NFL awards announcement next week. You're a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl winner. Your resume stacks up favorably against a lot of guys who are already in the Hall of Fame. You've been down this road before. I guess what's your mindset now as you approach another vote, if you will, to learn whether or not you've made it into Canton?
I'm grateful, man. I really am, Sam and Mike. I really have. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Do I believe that I should be a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. I think I've had a Hall of Fame career. I think I played at the highest levels, and I was a leader of a team, a defense that was special in winning those championships. So, yes, absolutely. But, I'm grateful as well for my family, friends, Deuce like you, business. Like I've probably done more. I probably had a better Hall of Fame career outside of football than I had than playing those 12 years in the NFL. But I'm grateful. But if it happens this year, I'm special. It'll be a special day, and I'll enjoy it with my family. That's what I really want to do. Not only just my family, my former teammates, but if it doesn't happen, man, God's good, man.
Real quick, what it must make you feel good to know, though, to see the Cowboys fan base and the way they supported you, believing.
Man, if you don't love Darren Woodson, I don't know what to tell you. I am so glad that Darren Woodson isn't acting like Jimmy Johnson. I'm so glad that Darren Woodson isn't acting like Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson, this dude crashed out, man. Drew Pearson crashed out about not getting to the Hall of Fame that year. And we've seen the TOs. We've seen these players. They crash out when they don't make the Hall of Fame. Man, Darren Woodson is like, man, let me tell you something that I don't know if you noticed what he said. Man, Darren Woodson is basically saying not getting to the Hall of Fame this year doesn't change the fact that I wasn't him. Darren Woodson said, I knew when I was playing, I was him. He said, I knew I was that caliber of player. Darren Woodson is the epitome of class and humility. If the NFL doesn't let Darren Woodson, and it's not that they're letting him, if they don't put this man in the Hall of Fame based on his work, man, let me tell you something. Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame on the first ballot means nothing to me. This man not being in the Hall of Fame says everything to me. And this, I'm gonna relate this to why I got beef with Jimmy Johnson. Why I got beef with Jimmy Johnson. This man is incredible. He's a great player and he's a great man. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
That you should be in, along with guys you played with, played against, former coaches. I mean, that's got to make you feel pretty good, I would think.
Yeah, and I've always had that love. When I was playing, I was feeling that love.
Yeah.
Holmgren stopped me my 4th year in the league, telling me, man, you're a Hall of Fame player. Like I kind of knew that I was that type of player back then. It does feel good though. I mean, we'd be lying to ourselves as former athletes or current athletes if we didn't say that, the fans, that appreciation that the fans put on you and give you the love that they give you, it doesn't go a long way. It goes a ton. I mean, it means a lot to be a former Cowboy football player and have the Cowboy fan base, showing me love.
You definitely deserve to be in, and we sure hope you get in. Woody, if for no other reason, you deserve to be in because of co-hosting the Hennings-Woodson show all those years ago. Look at those young boys.
Good. Look at my hairline. I actually had a hairline back then. Look at that.
Look at that jawline I had.
Great.
Yeah, they better let Woodson in. Newhouse fan, appreciate that super chat. He said, "Gee, I'm telling you, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech, is a dog, man. I've seen some stuff on him. Yeah, he looks great. And, he may be one of those players that may be able to let the Cowboys get back in the second round. I got a strange feeling the Cowboys are going to try to get back. I got a strange feeling the Cowboys are going to try to get back into the second round. I'm not going to be surprised if they trade back on that number 20 pick, try to get back to about number 23 and try to get them an extra pick in there. And maybe if they don't get one of those top guys and they see they can get him, I think they'll try to move back and get him. But I want to play you something else. I don't know if you've seen the video I released earlier today. Man, I got to let y'all, man, man, this dude, Darren Woodson, golly, bro. Let's go to this thing on players today. Darren Woodson drops a megaton bomb again. This dude, Darren Woodson, next level, man. If you hadn't seen my video, I found a clip of Darren Woodson talking about players today. Check this clip out. He was on the pivot. Telling you, man, Darren Woodson is different, man. Check this dude out.
Right, and they come through here, and I saw CeeDee Lamb walk through that. But I saw you, like the Cowboys, they practice right here, right, and they come through here, and I saw CeeDee Lamb walk through the other day, and I kind of get the perspective. Like CeeDee Lamb is making $35 million a year. A year. Like, what advice am I going to give this man of making $35 million a year? He's going to be like, dude, I'm going to make this for another 7, 8 years. This is generational wealth. What you going to tell me that I don't know, right?
What did I tell y'all earlier? Your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. See, today, because the money is so different than it was back in the day, you get young players, man. They come into this league at 20, 21 years old. They get that first year. I mean, they get past those first 4 years and they're a great player. By the time they turn 23, 24, they're mega multi-millionaires. They're making 30 million, 35 million plus. And Darren Woodson is basically saying, because their talent has taken them to a place to where their morals will not endure. They will not morally listen to an old player like Darren Woodson. You ever notice how young people are today? I have to stay on my sons. Always saying stupid stuff. Oh, it was different, Dad, when you were younger. Y'all didn't have smartphones and the internet and blah, blah. Always trying to make it like things are different. So anything you got to tell me, it don't apply to today. I have to knock some sense into their heads. The Bible is right 100% of the time. There is nothing new under the sun. We might not have had smartphones, but people have always been gossips. People have always been messy, and people have always found ways to communicate whenever they wanted to. They don't understand nothing about them doggone sidekicks and beepers. They've always been doing this. I don't care if it was back in the day. People were sending, the pigeons were the text messages. I don't care what they're talking about. Man, we had three-way calling and everything. Oh, no, man, it's nothing new under the sun. And so a lot of times, the younger generations, they don't have the morals to even respect their elders. They don't have the morals to say, you've been here, done that. This is why it just frustrates me so bad when I hear somebody like a LeBron James trying to proclaim himself as the GOAT. And then his friend, who he lets be manager, whatever the case may be, he's out here always trying to degrade Michael Jordan and degrade the era of Michael Jordan's when Michael Jordan played. Bro, respect your elders, man. You don't hear Michael Jordan trying to degrade people like Magic Johnson, Dr. J, people who came before him and did it, and proclaiming himself the GOAT. Man, you let another man sing your praises. I'm telling y'all every single time, man, your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. What I'm talking about is mentality. Darren Woodson. And I don't think he's saying that CeeDee Lamb wouldn't listen to something that he had to say. But I think he's talking about a mentality in today's player in general. That because they're making so much money and they feel like the money justifies the talent, that if someone tries to tell them, can I talk to you about how you can be better or how you can get to the next level? They're looking at you like, well, you didn't make the money that I made. I'm making more money than you ever made. I'm making more money than you now. What can you tell me? Let me rewind this. Boy, this is powerful, man. This is powerful what this man is saying.
I'll give an example. I saw you, like the Cowboys, they practice right here, right? And they come through here. And I saw CeeDee Lamb walk through the other day. And I kind of get the perspective. Like CeeDee Lamb is making $35 million a year. A year. Like, what advice am I going to give this man of making $35 million a year? He's going to be like, dude, I'm going to make this for another 7, 8 years. This is generational wealth. What you going to tell me?
This is the mentality. And this is a mentality I think they're struggling with even in Dallas. We always have the highest paid players. Have y'all not noticed this? We always have the highest paid players. Dominique, I don't think this is a true statement. Dak has always been good enough. Because if you're telling me that Dak isn't good enough, then you're telling me that Drake May is good enough. You're telling me Bo Nix is good enough. No, I'm not agreeing with you. Darren Woodson hit this on the head, bro. What those teams have that Dak Prescott has not had since he's been with the Dallas Cowboys. They have a dominant defense and they have dominant special teams. When you look at what we have not had with Dak Prescott here, we have not had all of these things in combination. Great defense, great offense, and great special teams. We either got one and we don't have two. We either got two and we don't have one. And the one thing that I don't think we've ever had in combination is we've never had in combination a great defense and a great offense. Can't agree with you there. David Everett, he said, gee, I just looked at the Cowboys 2026 schedule. If defense does anything at all, they should go 13-4 or 12-5. Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. They're going to be better this year. Watch what I tell you. They're going to be absolutely better. But again, I'm telling you right now, Woodson is talking about the mentality of players right now. It's the mentality of players. It's just so different. A lot of them don't believe that you can tell them anything. It's just different. And listen to the rest of this. It's just spot on what I'm telling you. All right, it's spot on what I'm telling you. Listen to the rest of this. Roberta Bacon, What's going on? Listen to this. Check this part out.
That I don't know, right? And I think they look at it that way in the locker room, and the coaches don't have that kind of control no more.
Hold on. Are you following this? I believe this has been a problem with the Cowboys for the last 30 years. We have always been the place. If you want to get paid, come to Dallas. We're going to pay you if you got a broke arm. We're going to pay you if you got a broke leg. We're going to pay you if you got torn up knees, broken up ankles, messed up feet. We're going to pay you. You can be the highest paid player here with trash mentality. Trash mentality. I'll never take anything away from Michael Parsons. But why did it take Michael Parsons to leave Dallas and all of a sudden it's all football, no podcast? Why do players leave Dallas and then it becomes all work? Mentality. Because we pay players here, man. People can call us cheap all we want to. Man, we pay players here. We might not pay all the players we should. We pay players. Man, we paid Dak Prescott. We paid Tony Romo. Paid Jake Ferguson. Paid Dez Bryant. Paid CeeDee Lamb. We're going to pay George Pickens. We're going to pay Javonte Williams. Paid Ty Smith. Paid Tyron Smith. Paid, Zach Martin. Paid Travis Frederickson. Paid Trayvon Diggs. Paid Michael. Well, we were going to pay Michael Parsons. We pay players here, man. And then we wonder why they don't have the mentality. Pay these players, man. They don't have the mentality. We got a player now. We got a high-paid player. Dak has the mentality. But we don't have enough players around him with that mentality. DeMarcus Lawrence can tell me anything he want to. We paid this man. He didn't have the mentality. And I'm going to tell you something else about DeMarcus Lawrence. He don't have the mentality now. DeMarcus Lawrence don't have Super Bowl mentality. DeMarcus Lawrence is on a team that has Super Bowl mentality. He just joining in. He didn't come in as the dog that lit that defense up. He came on a defense with dogs. That's what happened with DeMarcus Lawrence. But when you need him to be the dog, he can't be the dog. Jerry has paid players. And those players, when they get paid, and I'm going to tell you again, your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. And that's what's wrong with the Cowboys. They got the money. And I think it does something to some of these players that have been here over the years. These players get paid here, go somewhere else, might not be the highest paid player, but they go somewhere else, and then the mentality changes, or they get her on a team that has a different mentality, and so they have to go along with the mentality of the team that they're on. Why did it take Michael Parsons to leave here? I think even when you see Trayvon Diggs, the next incarnation of Trayvon Diggs will not be the Trayvon Diggs he was here. You watch what I tell you. Trayvon Diggs, when he gets his next opportunity, you watch what I tell you. Trayvon Diggs is going to work harder the next place he goes. If Trayvon Diggs is healthy, Trayvon Diggs is going to be, he may not be what he was when he was first here, but he's going to be better where he goes next. Why? Because when you get out of Dallas, you go to places to where the mentality is a little bit different. And this mentality is the mentality that we're trying to shake. And what Darren Woodson is talking about, this is a problem in Dallas. It's not just Dallas, it happens all over the league. But this happens a lot, if you ask me, in Dallas. Players here, man, the spotlight sometimes, I'm telling y'all, I think the spotlight is too big for players here. I think it's too big for players here. And when you think about when Darren Woodson was here, follow me on this. The spotlight was on the Cowboys because they were winning. Because when Jimmy and Jerry got here, man, this team was already sunk. They were already bad. That's why they were able to buy the team. But because they started winning, they put the spotlight on us. But the issue is, this team, the spotlight was not on them because of the glitz, the glamour, the big names, the money. The spotlight was on them because they started winning. And they were winning big. And they were one of the most mentally tough teams you would ever run across in your life. And the problem is after they brought in Barry Switzer and after the kingdom finally crumbled, the spotlight stayed in Dallas because Jerry Jones put it there. For something other than winning. Jerry has kept it there. Jerry has kept it there with the drama. Jerry has kept it there with the advertising. Jerry has kept it there with the innovations. Jerry has kept all of that here. But Darren Woodson is saying the same thing. I'm saying it, and some of us are saying it. They've got to get back to the mentality of winning. And the spotlight can't be because we're the Cowboys anymore. The spotlight needs to be because we are winning. And we are one of the toughest, one of the most mentally tough teams you ever run across. But I'm telling you something, man, money will make people not be mentally tough because for them, the money is the justifier. Money never justified those guys in the 90s. Man, people don't even understand this about Deion Sanders. You will never in your life see another player like Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders believed in getting paid. But in the mind of Deion Sanders, if you don't win championships, then the celebration and the pay is not justified. That's not how players think today. Some do, but a lot don't. Some players, and a lot of the players in this league today, they play for the big contracts. And once they get the big contracts, anybody ever noticed how so many of these players fall off? Isn't it amazing how some of these players play in contract years? Why? Why do they play so great in contract years? Because the goal was the money. It never was the chips. It never was the chips. And Darren Woodson is explaining an insane mentality that's all over this league. But in particular, it's been with the Cowboys for years.
It's the reality.
Wow.
Not even at the college level. They ain't got that control anymore, right? And then you come in from the college level, you built this person in the high school, college level, and then they walk into a locker room now in the pros. It ain't no different. Coaches don't have that kind of control. Look,
Darren Woodson. Bam! Darren Woodson is saying something. Man, think about this. Players today are making more than the coaches. Let that sink in. Players today are making more than the coaches. How do you tell a guy something that makes more than you? How do you tell him something? Explain it to me. If he wasn't raised right, Okay, I'm sorry about that, Dominique Pittman. My apologies, my brother. I must have read it wrong. Okay, I'll go back and read it in a minute. Oh, I apologize for that. Sorry about that. But, man, I'm telling you, how do you tell a player something that's making more than you? Let's be honest. We just saw 2 coaches get fired who don't play on the field. They don't throw. They don't run. They don't block. Sean McDermott got fired because Josh Allen failed. You know why? Because the Buffalo Bills were not paying Sean McDermott $55 million a season. They're paying Josh Allen $55 million a season. A quarterback who, in the reality of things, I don't think he has the mentality. Josh Allen is immensely talented. He don't have the mentality. He don't. I don't think he has the mentality. Lamar Jackson, immensely talented. I don't think he has the mentality. I don't. Dak Prescott. Let me tell you about Dak Prescott. The difference in those guys and Dak Prescott had to work to be what he is. This is why I'm telling you, this is why the Cowboys have to strike right now while the iron is hot. Because Dak right now, he's worked himself into the talent, but he's also worked himself into the mentality. If there's ever been a time that Dak Prescott is ready to go to the Super Bowl, it's now. It's now. Dak Prescott is ready right now. And this is why they got to strike while the iron is hot. When your quarterback gets to this level, it's time to win, man. It's time to win. Dak has the mentality to do it. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. Larry Golden said, amen, younger people just don't get it, or at least some of them don't. The money is too great. They got a chip on their shoulders. Larry, watch this. See, their talent has taken them places that their minds are not mature enough to deal with. Man, you let an 18-year-old kid, now think about this. 18-year-old kids are becoming millionaires. They're making more than their dad. How do you tell them something? How do you tell them something? If they don't have good upbringing, how do you tell them something? And we already know a bunch of these kids today, they don't have no good upbringing. And we're making them millionaires. Darren Woodson is on to something, man. Your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. Because at the end of the day, if the money justifies you, you're not listening for wisdom. Because you're already justified. You're already fulfilled. And this is why I continue to say why Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, those are the GOATs of sports. The money was a byproduct of the drive that they had to be the best of the best. Money didn't drive Michael Jordan. Money did not drive Michael Jordan. Even the statistics in the grand scheme of things. Because if Michael Jordan, I promise you hindsight is 2020. If Michael Jordan would have knew that there was going to be somebody coming later on named LeBron James, man, Michael Jordan wouldn't have took a break. Michael Jordan would have played more years. Michael Jordan could have been statistically wise, could have been the greatest player to ever play. But Michael Jordan, mentality wise, is the greatest player to ever play. He was driven by championships, not money. Money was a byproduct to Michael Jordan. Tom Brady, I'm sorry. Tom Brady will always be the GOAT quarterback for me. Tom Brady will always be the GOAT quarterback. You want to know why? Because money didn't drive Tom Brady. Now, it's driving him now. This man making $375 million. More money than he ever made in his football career. But on the football field, Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks. The GOAT of quarterbacks. There's nobody that can take Tom Brady's spot. 7 championships. Took pay cuts to stay with the doggone New England Patriots. Shoot, Tom Brady, different mentality. Different mentality. I'm telling us. Listen to this. Michael Irvin is talking about this too. Check out what Michael Irvin says. I don't know if you've heard this. Listen to Mike going off about this. And look at this at the top. LaShawn McCoy said the days are different. Wait, what did I tell you my sons always tell me? What do I tell you my sons always tell me? This is the cry of the young man. Times are different. This is the young man's moniker. Times are different. He says you have to accept it, Uncle Mike. Love you, OG. Every player won't have our type of career, but they can start off with a couple of 100,000 or millions. It benefits them and their family. Watch this. You ask these young players today, what's the first thing you want to do? I want to buy my mama a house. It's not how championship level players think. No, I want to win the Super Bowl. My talent is so good that buying my mama a house is not going to be a big deal. Yeah, no big deal. My talent brings that. I'm not concerned about the first thing I'm going to do. I want to win a Super Bowl. Talk to me after that. These players today, money is the goal. Money is the goal.
Bouncing around from school to fucking school is not being the cocoon of life. I'm just going, how we go? To Nick, how we go, Nick, how we go? Coaches can do it. Coaches can do it. Why not? Coaches, they're coaches. But as a kid, I got to teach your ass how to fight. Because you want to have to fight for your damn family. You have to fight on your job. So why are you going over here? Things don't work, I'm leaving. Over things don't work, I'm leaving. Over he left, I'm leaving. I'm losing the essence of the cocoon that I'm supposed to be teaching them how to go from a kid to a man because I'm trying to make them chase a man. I'm trying to make them chase a man. We got kids growing up saying everybody get a trophy now. That took fight out of it. Now when I started, I was a third string receiver. I had to fight and earn my way to first string. Now we saying if you third string, just leave. That takes a fight out of them. Then they got to go out here and fight for their families. Their families fucking doomed. They're doomed. They're not learning how to fight. And we're talking about that. We're missing the cocoon of life. Damn it, man. Whoa, y'all.
What I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Man, your talent will take you places that your morals will not endure. That's what's happening to these college kids. The talent. The talent is taking them places that their minds are not prepared for. And we wonder why these people like Odell Beckham Jr. gets $100 million, makes $100+ million, and then says it's hard to live off that. What? You want us to feel sorry for you that you pissed off $100 million, excuse my language. Your talent will take you places your morals will not endure. And this is why I'm saying about Jerry Jones. You can come here and get paid. Don't mean you're going to have the best team. Don't mean you're not going to go to Pro Bowls. Don't mean you're not going to be all pro. Don't mean you're not going to do a lot of things in Dallas. But what we got to get back to is winning. And the problem, I'm telling you, one of the problems for this team is the spotlight is so big. Everybody can't handle it. The spotlight is too big here for some people. They don't see nothing but the dollar signs. They don't see nothing but the fame, the fortune. They don't see nothing but making a name. They don't see nothing but that. They don't see anything. Larry Golden said back in the day, they played for the love of the game. Now they're playing for the love of the money, and they could care less if they even play the game as long as they get paid. Hey, let me tell y'all something. Boy, y'all making fun of Trayvon Diggs, and I don't blame you. Y'all making fun of Trayvon Diggs. But let me tell you what's about to happen with Trayvon Diggs if his health stays right. Let me tell you what's going to happen with Diggs. Because Diggs got all them kids. Because Diggs got all them kids. Because Diggs will no longer be making $16, $17, $18 million a year. That Diggs is entering into mercenary mode because Diggs is going to have to prove it to a team and prove it to this league that he can play again. Let me tell you something. Diggs going to look different. Diggs going to look different. You want to know why Diggs going to be looking different? Because Diggs going to be desperate. And he ain't going to be able to get the money unless he comes back and perform. I'm telling you now. Shoot, you watch what I tell you. If Diggs is healthy, Diggs going to look different. Diggs going to look different. He ain't making that money he was making in Dallas no more. See, now it ain't going to be about the money with Diggs. Now it's going to be with Diggs. It's going to be about the fact I got to prove that I'm worth the money. Shoot, you watch what I tell you. You watch what I tell you about Diggs. Reggie said, train up a child in the way he should go, G. There it is. That's it. Samuel said, G, I love what you just said, G. Dak is ready, and he has worked himself to be where he is right now. Our quarterback of America's team, Cowboys Nation, stand up. Sammy Porter. This is the part people don't understand about Dak Prescott. Dak has worked himself to this point. And his mentality right now, Dak has the mentality that you need. Dak ain't worried about the money no more. He already got it. The one thing that Dak understands, that if he don't get a Super Bowl, the money don't matter in the eyes of the Cowboys fans. It's not going to matter in the eyes of people who go out there who are going to have to vote on Hall of Fames and all that stuff. It ain't going to matter. Dak Prescott now understands. He's playing for legacy. Dak cares about legacy, man. Dak wants to prove he's worth the money. Brian Worley, I tell my kids all the time, shoot, fat meat greasy. I tell them all the time. They'll tell you. I tell them all the time. Fat meat greasy. Shoot. Fat meat greasy. Man, I'm telling you, boy, them two, what Michael Irvin just said and what Darren Woodson just said perfectly go together. And this is the mentality that Jerry's got to get out of here. Jerry's got to get that mentality out of here. He does. Mose Logan, I mentioned this earlier. Jadeveon Clowney hit the building and said they spoiled up in here. Shoot. Man. Telling you. All right, let's go to Stephen Jones real quick. I'm pretty sure y'all have already heard the Stephen Jones interview. So I'm not going to deep dive into the Stephen Jones interview. I just want to go to a certain part. Stephen Jones said something in this interview that is very eye-opening, and it's telling you where the Cowboys are going. Man, let me show you. Stephen Jones and these guys, they say stuff without saying it so much. It's so funny now. And this is why Cowboy fans should absolutely be excited for what this team is going to look like this year. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm excited for where the Cowboys are going to be. I'm excited. I think the Cowboys, Christian Parker, man, I'm telling y'all, I'm pulling for this young man so hard. I'm pulling for this man so hard, man. I'm praying for this young man. I want this young man to be successful because he seems to have the kind of mentality that has been missing in Dallas for years.
Meetings with
All right, so this is Stephen Jones. So I picked up on something that the Cowboys have adopted. So last year it was culture. Last year it was culture with Brian Schottenheimer. This year with Christian Parker, it's Christian's vision. Christian's vision. Boy, the Cowboys, man, you start hearing these catchphrases man, they be killing me with these catchphrases. So, I want to go to the mid part of this interview with Stephen Jones. And Stephen Jones starts saying some things right here. It's so telling of where the Cowboys are going and what the Cowboys think of what they have. Y'all listen to this. Check this out.
Last year to set yourselves up for this draft. Really
I mean, obviously that's where we've had our most success, is really trying to go through our list of needs and trying to fill those in free agency, and then that allows us to cut and shoot when it gets to the draft and get the best player available. So that's certainly our goals. Will's done a great job with his staff, whether it's the pro side or the college side, of really looking at where the strengths and weaknesses are of the free agency class as well as the draft.
I know it's early in the offseason, but have you guys had any chances to talk with representation of Javonte or Pickens or Jadeveon yet?
We've certainly visited with Javonte. Hadn't had those visits. A lot of those happen at the combine. Obviously, we're still.
Let me tell y'all something about Javonte Williams. We better prepare ourselves as it pertains to Javonte Williams. The only way Javonte Williams is in Dallas this year, he's going to have to want to be here. The only way Javonte Williams is in Dallas, he's going to have to want to be here. I got a strange feeling, man, that some team may come along and offer Javonte Williams some serious money. I wouldn't be surprised if the Washington Commanders try to offer Javonte Williams some serious money. There are going to be some teams that are going to offer Javonte Williams some serious money. The only way he's going to be here, he's going to have to want to be here. He's going to have to want to be here. Bottom line. He's going to have to want to be here. That's all I can tell you, man. He got to want to be here. But again, this is the part I want you to hear. Larry Golden said, this is one of your best podcasts ever. I would love to hear one of your sermons. Appreciate it. Hey, send me an email. I'll send you some stuff. D-Web, what's going on? All right. Newhouse fan says Stephen Jones got that SpongeBob face. Uncle Charles from Birmingham, Alabama. What's going on? Demetrius, what's going on? Gee, there is an illusion that Dak would not have made $60 million a year, but I beg to differ. Demetrius, it was already being reported. Teams were salivating. If Dak would have hit the open market, Dak would have got more than $60 million. Yeah, he would have got more than $60 million. Reggie said it's hard for old folks to change, so it got to work, or they'll just go back to doing things the same way all over again. But you know what? One of the things, Reggie, is that also young folks got to understand that just because technology changes, that things are different. And this is where young folks get all messed up in the head. They think they're smarter than older people. That's why I have to make sure, I have to remind my sons, bro, I done lived 4 lives. Man, I'm telling you right now, people don't understand, because I got degrees and now I'm a preacher and I teach and do all these different things. And people think, oh yeah, he's this, he came up with, man, shoot. Boy, people don't understand where I'm from, man. Man, my sons be laughing when I tell them how I was raised, man. I'm from the hood, man. I didn't even know I was living in the hood. I didn't even know I was poor. There was so much love when I was growing up. I didn't know I was P.O. poor. I didn't know I was poor. We didn't get raised like that. Shoot, poor is a mentality. I didn't realize it. I just grew up in the era where it said you got to get it. Shoot, man, I come from the hood, bro. I come from the hood. I lived in places where people sold crack, people were getting killed. I mean, it was just normal. My sons be laughing. Man, I used to eat mustard sandwiches. I didn't say sandwiches. I said sandwiches. Eating mustard sandwiches, eating ketchup sandwiches. I thought it was normal. I mean, I still have people be laughing. They thought, hey, what do you mean you ate mustard sandwiches? What else was it to eat? I'm just telling you, man, I come from a different place. And so, these people today, it's just a different mentality, man. It's just a different mentality. Okay, let's keep listening. Let's keep listening to Stephen Jones. Check this out. Boy, Bass, you crazy. Bass says Stephen Jones look older than his daddy.
Got some time before free agency starts, and not able to talk to those guys until free agency starts. But we're always visiting with representatives about our players.
What's kind of the approach of fixing the defensive side of the ball this offseason?
Well, it starts with what we just did, with hiring our defensive coordinator and come up with what type of players we want to be successful in the scheme that he gave us a vision that would utilize the pieces that we already have in place. And then ultimately we'll need a vision for, where we need to improve. And, that's where it starts. But it'll start by having a really strong coaching staff, which we're off to a great start with Christian and off to a great start with the candidates that we've been visiting with. And then the next steps will be to obviously improve through free agency and the draft.
How have those conversations gone with Christian about the type of players that you might be looking for in the draft and through free agency so far? What are those types of players?
Well, obviously, we're just getting started. And Christian just took the job. The focus right now has been on filling out his staff. We'd like to have that staff in place, and then we'll be having intense meetings with the type of players that, we want to have to fill out what it would take to fulfill his vision.
Christian's vision. If you listen to this interview, the theme of the interview is Christian's vision. Christian Parker. He came into that interview and he painted a vivid picture of what he wanted his defense to look like. And Stephen Jones said something earlier in the interview that I thought was very telling. Let me see if I can get to this part, and then I'll come back over here because I want you to hear something else. Okay, so I'm going to come back to 734. Listen to what Stephen Jones said here about Christian.
Starting tomorrow.
you guys have seen that Eagles defense up close and personal, of course, the last couple of years. But you know, big fan.
There's some things that if it were his to do, he'd like.
Wait, watch this. Listen to this part right here.
From Christian Parker and his little nuances specifically, how can you expect that?
Well, you couldn't have said it any better. I mean, obviously, we know Vic. We interviewed Vic for a job here, head coaching job at one time, and have nothing but respect for the job he's done there in Philly. But at the same time, Christian, walked through some things that if it were his to do, he'd do a little different. And we really liked some of those wrinkles he'll bring as well. But
I told y'all this. I believe we're going to get some of Vic Fangio, but I also think we're going to get Christian Parker's version of the Vic Fangio defense. I think he's going to turn it into his own. Because I'm telling you, I guarantee you that there were certain times that Christian Parker said, okay, if this would have been my defense, I wouldn't have done this. I would have did this. I wouldn't have done that. I would have did this. I would change this. He's going to get to do it. We're not going to see Vic Fangio. We're going to see Christian Parker. And I'm excited for it because this is going to be something totally new for the Cowboys. Because I have been so tired of hearing about Rod Marinelli. Man, I don't want to hear nothing else about Rod Marinelli. People are, oh yeah, Rod Marinelli tree. What has the Rod Marinelli tree done? Christian Parker is going to do his thing. And that's why I'm laughing because, again, if you listen to this interview in its entirety, you will keep hearing Christian's vision.
Fulfill his vision in terms of the type of defense that we're going to play and where we're short as we stand today.
How soon are you hoping to have that staff finalized?
The goal would be by the weekend if we could. Now, could it linger? It could, but we've had a lot of great visits, and we've got a lot of guys who are going to be coming in, who've made the next step that we want to bring them in here and get on the board with them, and Coach Schottenheimer and Christian get in there and see what we can do with it, and hopefully find a lot of good coaches here.
And from what you've learned up to this point in your conversations with Christian, when you get to training camp in September and all the things are starting to come together, what are some of the things that you'll want to hear or describe this defense as kind of X, Y, and Z?
Well, let's start with our foundation. Obviously, we've got three really good interior defensive linemen.
So this is the part I want you to hear. Michael Smooth and Richard Villegas, what's going on in this thing, man? Good to see y'all. Now, I want you to listen to what Stephen Jones is about to explain. Without saying it, he's going to talk about what the Cowboys are and what the Cowboys need. Just listen to how he's explaining this. They got the interior.
The vision is for those guys. We've got a great draft pick that we think has a huge future in Ezaraku. Certainly overshown. We've got, big time thoughts about. And, we obviously going to get Bland back. And we've got a good young corner in Revel. But, that's kind of the foundation. And then you start to.
Did y'all catch that? Man, when I heard this part right here, and then the follow-up question is the part that solidified it. But, so this is the plan. These are what the Cowboys are calling the foundational players. Donovan Ezaraku, Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, also Digizua. That's the core of the defensive line. Damarion Overshown, linebacker. Savon Revel Jr., Deron Bland, corners. So, those are the foundational pieces. So, y'all do hear what they're explaining, what they're going to be looking for in free agency in the draft, and it's really no-brainer. Another edge rusher. A linebacker. Safeties, and another corner. It's that simple. He just explained it without explaining it. That's what they're going to be looking for. That is exactly what they're going to be looking for. And I believe they're going to try to get the edge. They're going to try to get the edge in free agency. They'll probably try to get a safety in free agency. And then in a draft, they're going to try to get the corner and the linebacker. And they'll probably add some depth in free agency to kind of to get the depth of the team, to fill out the team. But he's basically telling you what they're going to do. He's telling you what they're going to do. Because watch the follow-up question. Watch this. Watch the follow-up question.
Put the pieces in place from there, whether it's free agency or the draft.
See, he just explained. Free agency and the draft is the players they're going to get outside of the foundational players. Watch this.
I just have two more. One, Donovan Wilson had experience with Christian Barker and their time
Now notice, they brought up the safeties.
together. How do you guys view him ahead of his free agency?
Yeah, I mean, those would be all things we sit down with. I mean, we just.
Hold on. Did y'all catch this? Stephen Jones mentions the players that they feel are the foundational players. But then when the safeties are brought up, he starts talking different. He starts talking about player evaluation. We haven't gone far enough yet to start talking about those things. Well, you obviously been talking long enough to know who your foundational players are that you basically named off by name. Come on, man. You can't make this up.
It's got Christian on board, and like I said, the focus has been more about the coaching staff. And
wait a minute. But that's not what you just said when you mentioned them foundational players. What is it funny to me, man? Boy, you bring up them safeties and he like, hold on. We ain't had enough time to evaluate. Well, you've had time to evaluate them other ones that you named by name.
Who he needs to have on his staff versus going through each individual player.
And then if you guys.
No, wait a minute. We're not going through individual players, but you just named off individual players. Man, you can't make this up. I see you, Stephen Jones.
Accomplish 2 or 3 things this offseason. You could even say some lofty goals. By the time week 1 comes around, what would you want those things to be?
I mean, the biggest thing is we want to get the personnel that we need to, have this defense evolve into one of the top defenses in the league. Obviously, you had one of the top offenses in the league, and then, same holds true for special teams. We certainly want to be better there. We've got some good pieces with our returner and our punter and our kicker and our snapper. But usually when you get good defensive players, those turn into pretty good special teams players too. So, we just want to evolve into, being really strong in all 3 phases.
You will be.
Yeah, you know what he's talking about? A team. Yeah, they want to be a team. They don't want to be just a bunch of individuals with talent like they've been. They want to be a team. You got the best kicker, best kickoff returner, but you don't have the best special teams. You got a phenom at the linebacker position. You got Savon Revel Jr., who I think is going to be good. You got Bland, who's been an all-pro linebacker. You got Quinnen Williams, all-pro. Kenny Clark. You got Oso Digizua. You got Donovan Ezeraku. Jadeveon Clowney played well this year, but you don't have the best defense. Make it make sense. Man, make it make sense. Shoot, man, you talking about ramen noodles, man. Man, let me tell you about them ramen noodles, man. Man, I used to make that po man meatballs, spaghetti and meatballs. Man, when I first met my wife, she thought I was crazy. Man, used to make them ramen noodles and cut them Vienna sausages up in that joint. Tell you what you know about that. Tell you what you know about that po man spaghetti and meatballs. Shoot, put them ramen noodles inside put them doggone Vienna sausages inside them ramen noodles and go to town, boy.
Retaining Sorensen, correct?
Yes.
A lot of the time, whenever you take a new job, no matter what the industry is, the new employer of that hiree has expectations and shares expectations. What are some of the expectations that you and the front office shared with Christian and what you want to see out of it?
I think what I just said, we want to be one of the top defenses in this league. And certainly I believe, if we do that, what we can do on the offensive side of the ball, certainly we think we're going to have almost all the pieces back. Then we can have a really great football team. Complement that with a really strong special teams unit, and I think good things will happen for this football team.
Yeah, I agree. I think Christian Parker, and I am pulling for this young man. I think he's going to turn it around quick. I don't think he's going to turn it into a top 5 defense, but I think he's going to turn it around quick. I do. I think he's going to turn it around quick. New House fan, boy, you crazy. Said Stephen Jones is Jerry Jones' brother low key. Nah, he's not. And I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that to be true. I think Stephen Jones is just one of them people who age bad. Because we got pictures of Stephen Jones being extremely young while Jerry Jones was old. Stephen Jones is somebody, I believe he's just aged bad, and especially because of all of the wealth and things that he's probably done in his life. Shoot. Yeah, he's Jerry's son. He just aged bad. Big Rabowski said, hey now, Rod Marinelli is a record-breaking coach. Man, I'm telling you, I get so tired of that Rod Marinelli stuff, man. Shoot, I'm so glad we broke away from that Rod Marinelli tree. Ice Cold Cowboy said, Blend a walking home improvement with all those bolts and screws. I heard those legs too. Yeah, man, I hope he can do it, man. Once you start getting all them screws and stuff, man, that's pretty tough. Demetrius said, Cowboy fans are impossible. We tried something different, but we are holding on to all the negativity. You can't move forward if your past is leading you. Yeah, I think he's going to be great. Christian Parker, Demetrius, I think he's going to be great. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for him. And I'm so happy for the fact that it seems like the Cowboys, they believe in him. They believe in him. And I think we're going to keep hearing more about Christian's vision. Bass, you are not lying. Boy, when I first heard that interview, I said, dang, Steven is breathing hard. Boy, I said, boy, Steven breathing hard, boy. Steven breathing hard. Reggie, I like what you said here. You said you think Donovan Wilson might benefit from Parker's scheme. Reggie, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't even want to deal with it. I'd just say let Donovan Wilson move on. I'd rather them go get somebody like Minkah Fitzpatrick and then go get you somebody in the draft. Man said Vienna weenies. Man, I should get them Vienna sausages, cut them up, boy. Be that poor man spaghetti and meatballs. Oh, Angel, I'm telling you, man, that's that poor man spaghetti and meatball. I'm trying to tell you. Used to tear it up. After I found out what was in Vienna sausages, once I got older, and once I found out what was in them doggone ramen noodles, I had to give it up. Bass, I used to eat Spam back in the day, boy. That was a delicacy. Bass, that was a delicacy, man. What you talking about? Ron Hanna said they want to invest in stupid stuff, G, like jewelry and cars and the wrong woman. Ron Hanna, standing ovation. Ron Hanna, I'll never understand this generation. Ron Hanna, let me tell you something. If I was a young man making millions of dollars, man, I wish I would be having children out of wedlock. What? Man, I wish I would. Man, I wish I would have children out of wedlock. I wish I would. Not gonna be spreading my money all over the place. Man, let me tell you something. I would be terrified as a young man. I would be terrified as a young man. With money, millionaire. I would be terrified to be out there having sex out of wedlock. And let me not pretend I've always been saved. I would be terrified. Even if I wasn't saved, I would be terrified, one, of diseases, but number two, Man, I don't want to have kids out there everywhere. Man, you spreading money all over the place. I'm not going to let some woman trap me. I don't understand this new generation. It's like it's just okay to be out here having cheering all over the place. Yeah, I said cheering. Man, I ain't finna be having cheering all over the place. And that's why I told my sons, man, I told them, don't you dare. Don't you dare. You mess around, especially you have a child with the wrong woman, they'll ruin your doggone life. Shoot. Know what these people be thinking about today. Wish I would. Oh, ice cold cowboy, chicken tenders. Man, I didn't even know what chicken tenders was when I was growing up. The only chicken I knew about when I was growing up was the one that my grandfather used to go out there. My grandfather would ask you what you want to eat today, chicken or chicken. And I was like, what does that mean? You either gonna eat chicken cooked fresh from the yard, or I go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Shoot, my grandfather go out there, man, had a chicken coop in the backyard, go out there and pick one of them chickens up and just swing it around, break the head off that thing, let it walk around with no head, fry it up. That's how it was back in the day. Shoot, Larry Golden said many families had 13 kids with no money. Man, my grandparents didn't even know it. Man, they had 21 kids. And I thought we were living in a big old house. They had 21 kids in a 2-bedroom house. I mean, this is how it was back then, but you never felt like you was poor. I just thought it was normal to have wall-to-wall bunk beds. I did. Larry Golden said many families, 13 kids with no money, and every kid turned out great because they had a lot of love, and that's what makes a family. Don't forget the most important thing, the man upstairs, God. Yeah, it helps you with your mentality, man. It does. All right, let's close out tonight with this thing about Jimmy Johnson. Derrick Rose said he thought he was listening to Darth Vader. All right, man, so this thing about Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson has got me fired up. Jimmy Johnson is saying that he is going to boycott this year's, let me find it. Jimmy Johnson has said that he is going to boycott this year's ceremony for the Hall of Fame because Bill Belichick is not a first year or a first ballot Hall of Famer. Michael Smooth, I don't know about them colonial cookies, but I remember these cookies called Jack cookies. And these Jack cookies, they were probably about this big around. And you could buy them in a pack, or you could buy them for a nickel a piece at the neighborhood bootlegger that bootlegged cookies and candy. Oh, man, I used to tear those Jack cookies up. They had an elf in the middle. Oh, my gosh. Things were so good. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson has me livid because he is saying that he is boycotting the Hall of Fame. And I don't understand this. Let me see if I can find this. This has me livid. Angel Eyes, I've been trying to find them Jack cookies, man. You can't find them Jack cookies nowhere. Love them Jack cookies. And I'm going to go back and find this. Somebody mentioned this on the Pat McAfee show. I'm going to go back and find this. But I am livid over this nonsense. It says that football fans won't catch Jimmy Johnson in Canton this year. The 82-year-old coach legend declared Wednesday he won't be attending the Pro Football Hall of Fame festivities in Ohio this year after Bill Belichick was not elected in his first year of eligibility. He said, I thought it was going to be automatic, so I chartered a jet. I was going to go up there. The hell with it. I'm not going this year, Johnson said on the Pat McAfee show. Do y'all know how mad this has me right now? When I tell you Jimmy Johnson has me mad on a level of a Christian crash out, Jimmy Johnson has me furious. Can somebody explain to me? Jimmy Johnson is not going to attend the Hall of Fame festivities because they are snubbing Bill Belichick. Meanwhile, we just watched a video of the Hall of Fame continues to snub Darren Woodson, a player who is instrumental in him being in the Hall of Fame. Make that make sense. Make this make sense. It makes no sense to me. Jimmy Johnson, and I love Jimmy Johnson and what he did for the Cowboys, and I've told y'all this. Y'all are not watching the same Jimmy Johnson that helped the Cowboys win 2 Super Bowls and technically 3. Y'all are not watching the same Jimmy Johnson. This is utter nonsense. It is utter nonsense. He goes on to say, for a great football coach not to get in first ballot, that was wrong. And he also said, and let me see if I can find where he said this. He alluded to, if I'm not mistaken, that it would be one thing if it was a player. He wouldn't mind it. But because it's Bill Belichick, it's a travesty. Do what? This is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give y'all proof. I'm going to give y'all proof. A lot of people are not taking this. A lot of people are not taking the angle that I'm taking. But I'm sorry, I don't take the angle that everyone takes on certain issues, and y'all already know that by now. But I'm going to tell you something that you might not agree with, and I don't mind you not agreeing with it. Has anybody ever thought that if we were to do just a little bit of research, maybe we would all come to the conclusion that Bill Belichick is actually not a first ballot Hall of Famer? Maybe he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Why can't people have their own opinion? I mean, isn't this what you get these guys for? This is what you get them for. They get to have their own opinion. And just because you don't agree with their opinion doesn't mean all of a sudden they're wrong. Because you know what I got a problem with? I didn't see him have this same energy when they did what they did to Terrell Owens. Do y'all remember the campaign that Skip Bayless was on? Skip Bayless was calling Terrell Owens team obliterator. And Skip Bayless was out there telling everybody what a terrible teammate Terrell Owens was and how he was a distraction and all of those things. But that's not what the Hall of Fame is based on. The Hall of Fame isn't actually based on those things. The Hall of Fame is supposed to be based on your performance. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not a moral clause in there. I mean, it's really not. It's not a moral clause. But sometimes people turn it into a moral clause. But people are mad that Hall of Famers, that the voters didn't vote for Bill Belichick. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't blame him. Reggie, this is for you. I don't blame him. And I got a problem with Jimmy Johnson from this perspective. You let Bill Belichick fight his own fight. He's a grown man. You let Bill Belichick make the case for himself. I got a problem when you're making the case for Bill Belichick, but you're not taking that same stance for Darren Woodson. I got a problem. Darren Woodson is responsible for you being in the Hall of Fame. If there was somebody you were going to take a stance for, why isn't it Darren Woodson? Why isn't it Darren Woodson? He is literally one of the players instrumental for you being in the Hall of Fame. But you're not going to boycott it because of Darren Woodson. You were not taking a jet because you wanted to see Darren Woodson, somebody who was instrumental in your going. You're doing it for Bill Belichick? Bull junk. Bull. Why in the heck would you be doing this? This is bullcorn. This is absolute bullcorn. And I'm about to make a case. I'm about to make a case for the fact of why Bill Belichick, why he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Y'all ready for this? You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. Let me make the case for it. Watch this. Let me show you what Bill Belichick. Let me show you what Bill Belichick looked like before he got Tom Brady. Y'all ready for this? Let's turn it up. Let's turn up. This is Bill Belichick. 41. He was 36-44 with the Cleveland Browns. He was 5-13 before Tom Brady. He 41-57. He 41-57 before Tom Brady became the starter. 41-57 before Tom Brady. Post Tom Brady, he 29-38. He has a combined record without Tom Brady of 83-104 with a .449 in the regular season and playoffs. Show me where I'm lying. What was Bill Belichick without Tom Brady? You ready for another crazy stat? Let me give you another crazy one. This is Bill Belichick with Tom Brady. What? 249-75? He 249-75. He got a .769. .769 total record. Regular season 219-64. 6 Super Bowl titles. Conference championships 9. This is with Tom Brady. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all ain't ready for this fight. Newhouse fan. Oh, I'm not going to let nobody get away with this. 6 rings is the argument. Oh, I'm going to give you the argument. He got 6 rings. He got 6 of them with Tom Brady. 6 of them. Watch this. You ready for this? Let me give you the cold hard facts. They ain't ready for this. Watch this. Let me show you Tom Edward Brady. Let me show you Tom Brady. This is Tom Brady. Y'all ready for this? This is Tom Brady with Bill Belichick. Tom Brady with Bill Belichick. 2000 through 2019. 249 and 75, 219 64, 30 and 11 postseason, 219 and 64 in the regular season. Super Bowls, 9 Super Bowls with this man. What? But let me show you the stat. Let me show you the most telling stat. Because a lot of people were arguing. Do y'all remember the argument? Everybody was saying, okay, who's most responsible for the New England Patriots? Who is more responsible for them winning Super Bowls? Who's the most responsible? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What is it? Well, let me tell you the tiebreaker. Somebody says they both needed each other. It was the perfect storm. Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick isn't Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. Well, I think the record shows. We saw what Bill Belichick was without Tom Brady. Can I show you what Tom Brady was without Bill Belichick? Tom Brady, a .649 winning percentage, 37 wins and 20 losses, including the playoffs. You want to know what the tiebreaker is? Why is it that Tom Brady was able to get a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick was not able to get a Super Bowl without Tom Brady? Say it louder for the people in the back. Tom Brady got a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick couldn't get a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked like Tom Brady after Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick didn't look like Bill Belichick after Tom Brady. Bill Belichick turned back into a pumpkin, and Bill Belichick was the same Bill Belichick that he was before Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is the same Tom Brady that he was with Bill Belichick, and that's the facts. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason. And Reggie, I'm gonna give you some more proof. You wanna know why Bill Belichick was able to have stacked teams? Because Tom Brady kept taking pay cuts. Tom Brady did that. Tom Brady kept taking pay cuts. And no matter how short Bill Belichick made the team, Tom still kept winning. Those first 3 Super Bowls, it was defense. Those last 6 Super Bowls, Tom Brady was the driver of that cart. Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Somebody got to explain to me, why does Tom Brady still look like Tom Brady after Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick don't look like Bill Belichick after Tom Brady? Why is it? Oh, you want to show me? Let me show you something else. Not only does Bill Belichick after Tom Brady, not only does he have a .44 winning percentage without Tom Brady, 83-104. Not only does he have this, he's 37-45 before Tom. He's 46-59 after Tom. Post Tom Brady, 29-38. Playoff record 1-2 in 10 seasons without Brady. He had 10 seasons. Bill Belichick had 10 seasons to prove that he was the reason why they were winning Super Bowls, and he could not do it. But let me give you another golden nugget. You want to know what else tarnishes this man's record? Shoot, tell me what you want to. How in the tarnations does Bill Belichick go to North Carolina, North Kakalaki? How you go to North Kakalaki and destroy the program? Do what? This man has destroyed the program in North Carolina. This man is 4-8, 2-6 in conference play. In college? You Bill Belichick, and you're getting out-recruited in the NIL era? Come on, man. Make it make sense. This is Bill Belichick. After Tom Brady, I'm going to say it, trash. Go to the college ranks, North Carolina, trash. What has Bill Belichick? What has he done? What has he done since Tom Brady? What has he done? Not to mention, and I'm telling you this, some of these voters are looking at what this man has looked like since Tom Brady has been gone. He going out like Willie Lump Lump. This man got a young girlfriend, and I have no problem with him having a legal age young girlfriend, but this man, Bill Belichick, is going out like Willie Lump Lump. He got this girl all up in his business. All up in North Carolina football affairs. This man going out like Willie Lump Lump. This man is looking like one of the dumbest men we've ever seen in our life. Man, Bill Belichick, I'm telling y'all right now, tell me what you want to, but I can tell you why. And people don't like it, but I can tell you why right now. These voters looked at Bill Belichick. Man, these doggone voters looked at Bill Belichick and said, this man is going out like Willie Lump Lump. Boy, they said this man going out like Willie Lump Lump. Man, he doggone voters said, man, I can't eat good God. Many voters said, man, I can't eat good conscience. I can't let this man be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He ain't done nothing since Tom Brady. He's destroyed the program in North Carolina, and he got some young lady ruining this man's legacy and ruining what he's doing in North Carolina. They say, I can't overlook it. They're saying it. I can't overlook it. They penalized T.O. for all of his antics, and they're penalizing Bill Belichick because of what he's been since Tom Brady. It's been crazy. It's been crazy what this man has been since Tom Brady is gone. I mean, just poor decision making. Ran the New England Patriots. This man ran the New England Patriots in the ground so bad. Man, Robert Kraft finally had to say, bro, I can't watch this no more. Man, y'all, anybody can tell me anything they want to. Hey, Bill Belichick, I give him his credit. He is a part of what happened with Tom Brady. But I'm sorry. This man ran the New England Patriots in the ground. He ran them in the ground before. It took Mike Vrabel to resurrect them from the dead. Man, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I mean, people want to turn a blind eye, and Jimmy Johnson is wrong. Jimmy Johnson is wrong. He has a better case to be standing up for Darren Woodson than he does to be standing up for Bill Belichick. Man, Bill Belichick, a grown man. Let him defend himself. But he can't defend himself because he's going out like Willie Lump Lump. Bill Belichick is going out like Willie Lump Lump. Bill looking crazy right now, guys. And people are turning a blind eye to it. Bill Belichick, this dude is going out like Willie Lump Lump. And he is responsible for tarnishing his own legacy. Stop blaming folk who are looking at his bad decision-making since Tom Brady has been gone from him. We saw what Tom Brady has been. Tom Brady was nothing but excellent after he left the New England Patriots. And he showed. I was driving that train. It was me. I was the constant professional. I was the one taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the team. I'm the one who was taking the pay cuts. I'm the one who was doing all those things. And you tried to backdoor me, Bill Belichick. You tried to backdoor me with pretty Jimmy Garoppolo. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. See, people, man, they sitting up trying to give Bill Belichick a pass. But I saw what Bill Belichick was. Bill Belichick tried to backdoor Tom Brady with Jimmy Garoppolo, only for Tom Brady to come back and make him look stupid, and still won another Super Bowl. Shoot, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I'm not buying this stuff with Bill Belichick. There have been so many players, so many coaches who have been snubbed by the Hall of Fame. And I didn't see Jimmy Johnson boycotting then. You're boycotting for Bill Belichick, who never played a down for you, but you won't stand up and stand tall for a man who is instrumental in your success. Ain't got time for Jimmy Johnson. Shoot, ain't got time for it. It's foolishness. And this is another reason why those people who didn't vote for Bill Belichick, they probably feel justified. They probably feel justified. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's your career in its entirety. We're not stopping at the 6 Super Bowls. It ain't like you was out there running the ball. It's not like you were out there throwing it. It's not like you were blocking. It's not like you were out there doing all that. But you won't even stand up for a player that was doing that for you. But you want to stand up for Bill Belichick. Okay, you stand up all you want to. But this, for me, is foolishness. And it just goes to show you just another long line of bad decisions. I'm just telling you. Y'all don't have to agree. But Bill Belichick is going out like Willie Lump Lump. Point blank in the story. And I'm sorry, bro. And my wife said this. And she is no football savant. But she said, why didn't Bill Belichick just retire after Tom Brady? Why didn't he retire? Why didn't he go out on top? Why not? But Bill Belichick, y'all better understand Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was trying to prove that he could win without Tom Brady, and he failed. He failed. He unequivocally failed. And I don't find it to be strange. Somebody got to explain it. Dak fan for life, I agree. Belichick should not get in the Hall of Fame before Woodson. Somebody's got to make this make sense to me. How is it you look exactly like you looked before Tom Brady, after Tom Brady? Make it make sense. And if anything, if there's ever going to be a travesty, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, the travesty will be Tom Brady not getting in at the first ballot. Because for you to be a quarterback and to win the Super Bowl with 2 different teams and to win one of those Super Bowls in your 40s, shoot. First ballot all day, every day. Shoot. That's first ballot. That's first ballot. Bill Belichick, if he wins a Super Bowl without Tom Brady, shoot, give it to him immediately after that Super Bowl. He ain't even got to wait. If Bill Belichick would have won a Super Bowl without Tom Brady, the following season, put him in the Hall of Fame even if he's still coaching. Shoot. Know what they talking about? Miss me with all this miss me with all this Bill Belichick stuff. Man, there's been so many doggone coaches and players who've been snubbed. And you think I'm finna cry for Bill Belichick? Who, show me what he's been outside of Tom Brady. Then you got a case. But if you show me what he's done with Tom Brady, no, it's more about Tom Brady than it is him. Shoot. That's it for me, Cowboys fans. Tomorrow, Saturday, God willing, we're going to be back. Had fun with y'all tonight. Some of the things I talked about tonight, I'll be putting into a short form video. But I'm telling you right now, I ain't buying what they selling about Bill Belichick. And I'm telling you right now, don't start trying to expose the voters now when you haven't been exposing them in the past when it comes to other players and coaches that they've snubbed. But because it's Bill Belichick, and I ain't buying this nonsense. I ain't buying it. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments tonight. Best chat on YouTube. I appreciate you. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace and chicken grease.